to hire.
From screen printing and embroidery to promotional products and online shops, it's all under one new roof at Max's Print Shop in Marcy. Order anytime and any quantity in person or online at maxsprintshop.com. Since 1978, we pride ourselves on personally meeting every customer's need. We can take your project from design to production. And remember, Max's Print Shop will stitch anything. And we mean anything in the Utica-Rome area. Find us at 9555 River Road in Marcy or online at maxsprintshop.com.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language? In as little as 3 weeks, Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
It's time to start the program. It's time to earn our pay. It's time to meet the people on the Keeler Show today. It's time to read the news and weather. Time to figure out what to say. It's time to turn the channel of the Keeler Show today. Why do we always listen? Keeler's always in the know. It makes me want to call him and tell him where to go. And now let's get things started. Andrew, let's get things started. It's time to get things started. On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
.621, Richard is all ready. You want to hear his response to potential snow on Friday night into Saturday?
Yeah, I hope it's good.
You okay? You talking about some storm on Friday night? Unless 1 inch or less is your definition of a storm, then you are off base. But watch out for next week. Monday night and all day Tuesday into Wednesday, early forecast could bring over a foot of snow. Do your DD better.
Who, me?
No, I think he's talking to me.
Well, yeah, but you said that 24 hours ago. If the forecast has changed 9 times since we were on the air.
Do your due diligence better. There are 3 models.
I thought he meant...
I just want to talk facts. There are 3 models. One model has another storm coming across that could dump snow on us. The other 2 have either sunshine or rain. That's what the story says. That's what I call DD.
Yeah, I mean,
you are drunk driving this morning. You're a drunk driver of the mouth this morning. I don't know, Richard.
It was 21 hours ago we were talking about a forecast. I mean, it's changed, like I said, 15 times since.
No, Richard is saying DD stands for I'm your designated driver of the mouth. Okay, whatever you think.
Okay.
Whatever you think. What were you saying? I'm so sorry.
No, that was it. I was going to go somewhere with the DD and the designated driver fit the bill.
So I would hope we don't, right? I would certainly hope we don't. And let's be honest, the storm that hit us last Friday wasn't much of a storm after all.
No, it was the first 20 minutes of it was as bad as it got.
It was bad first few minutes, but then things turned a little bit better, much better, as a matter of fact. How about this couple kidnapped in Mexico?
This is so scary.
Actually, it's a foursome, 4 people. They it was no more than the minivan just drive into Mexican territory, into the Mexican city, crossing over from the U.S., and bang, they were armed people came and dragged the people across the street and loaded them into a pickup truck.
It's extremely scary. You've been to foreign countries before where there was maybe some concerns, right?
Well, we've been to Mexico at a time when people were being kidnapped, and I had a bit of an altercation with one of the street vendors in Mexico. he's just trying to push stuff onto my kid, and I'm like, leave him alone. And the guy's like, well, he wants it. So it was like a stupid monkey. And I said, like a stuffed monkey. And I'm like, well, he may want it, but he's not getting it. So get away from us. And, it went back and forth. And I'm like, quickly, get to the ship. They're going to kidnap us.
Well, we joke, but I guess sometimes, so on the story about Mexico, I'll just throw in my own story quickly. When we went on our honeymoon, boy, and it's funny because I struggle with this. I couldn't even tell you where we went. It was they had a beach, they had an ocean.
And warmer temperatures than this.
Yes, exactly. So we were there, and there were some concerns, and they said basically on the beachfront there was almost like buoys on both sides of the property, and they basically said, don't leave the property unless you need to, or unless you know somebody, or unless you know where you're going. And we kind of just shrugged it off, and at one point I was taken to Walmart. Want to go Walmart? So, and it was like, I thought I was going to get robbed. It was like some little cove, and it was basically what you'd see on a corner in East Utica, like a street like that.
So it wasn't Walmart.
It wasn't even close to Walmart.
So it was spelled Wahmart.
Yes. So, and the guy had a business card that had the real Walmart logo on it and everything. So I went in there, and it was me and three guys, and one guy went to walk behind me, and I went, oh, guys, sorry, I forgot my wallet, and like beelined for the door and then back out onto the main drag. And I was like, you idiot, why would you do that? I got really nervous.
I have to say, we used to, and, here I am. I think the last time we went to Mexico, it wasn't the last time, but one of the times, and I had my kids with me. So I took a cab and paid him, I don't know, it was like $75 or something, to take us around, to the, where the people live. I don't know what I was thinking, but this probably was 10 years ago. And he drove us around and gave us a little tour. The taxi tour is always the best tour anywhere. Because the taxi drivers know the area. They know it even probably better than the tour guides who are going to take you just to those touristy places. Yeah. So then I said, take us somewhere to eat where, the people eat. And he did. We went to a really nice restaurant. It was empty. Nobody was there. But everything was so inexpensive and the food was so good. No one spoke English. And when I look back on that today, I'm, there we are. Probably 4 or 5 miles into the wherever we were,
the island, whatever.
Yeah. And based on what we now know, where people are being abducted, anything could have happened.
Well, so and to put a bow on my story, there was no other incident. My wife at the time was like, "You moron, what's wrong with you?"
Yeah.
Why would you do that? And I
Great
said,
way to start the marriage.
Yeah, I said, look, I thought I was really going to Walmart, and so anyway, we had a nice, great vacation, and we get back on the shuttle, if you will. It was like a very small shuttle bus, and there was a couple next to us who was at an adjacent resort, I guess you'd call it, and she said, we were talking to some of the locals.
That resort's name was Macy's, by the
way. She said they were telling her that somebody had been abducted 2 weeks prior and was basically taken on a boat out to an island and held for ransom. And
that's bad.
Yeah, so...
And there's nobody in my family willing to pay big money for us. So yes. We're screwed.
Same here.
Yeah.
Same here. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's just, it's kind of scary also when you think about the fact that they had just gone through a crossing, a checkpoint, right? Is that right? So you would think that there's some level of law enforcement, security right there. They witness it.
Well, but there's stuff. I mean, you're seeing it's like the drug cartels there, like stronger than the police force.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, we'll talk to Tanya Powers on the 4 Americans kidnapped. I believe, is it $500,000 the FBI is offering for their safe return. We'll see what occurs there. Let's see. We have some. There's a story up on our website.
I'm sorry. Before we move on,
sure.
That last part struck me, and I've always heard the I don't want to call it a cliche, but maybe to some degree it is. where they say you don't negotiate with terrorists, right? You don't negotiate with terrorists under any circumstance. Now, look, if I'm one of the 4 who's kidnapped, I want the United States to pay to get me free.
Sure.
But at the same time, doesn't that send the message? Once you let them go for $500,000, the next couple that comes across, grab them because you're going to get $500,000 more.
Yeah.
So, what's the right answer?
If you're that foursome, the right answer is hope the government's going to pay to get us back.
Absolutely.
Right.
But then isn't there more of a concern the next time Americans cross into that country?
I think we should be careful about crossing into that country, to be honest. Pretty scary out there. Let's see. We have what else did I want? This story out of Syracuse is a crazy story. A professor has been charged, and for some reason the full story is not coming up on my feed here. But a professor at Syracuse University has been charged with. I'll get to it in a second here. Hold on, and I have completely lost that story. Darn it all! I'll get to it though. It'll be back. What else here? This weekend is the St. Patrick's Day Parade in Utica and in Syracuse, in fact. We work with Syracuse so that we end up getting better acts in the parade, right?
Yeah, otherwise,
The bagpipes, all those traditional things. It's kind of like a 2-for-1 gig for them as they come up from New York City. And they do the parade here first, then they go off to Syracuse. It allows us to be able to get them, which I think is a real positive. And so far, parade steps off at 10 o'clock on Saturday. I understand there's a forecast out there that says we could get some snow, but as of right now, it's really kind of up in the air, right? I mean, there are 3 different, as we said earlier, 3 different models that would, one has snow, but the other 2 models show, one says sunshine, and the other one is calling for just cloudiness. The meteorologist yesterday, who was Craig Finch, who is doing weather for us right now, said this is another tricky one. March storms tend to be pretty tricky to predict, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the one part that he said where after St. Patrick's Day, statistically, the odds of a major snowstorm fall dramatically.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean we can't get one, but the odds of getting one after St. Patty's is
technically, he said
significantly less.
the significant day is, that significant day is the Ides of March.
Oh, right, the 15th.
Which is the 15th. But either way, after St. Patrick's Day as well, the odds of a big storm go down significantly. Wayne says DD means dum-dum, is what he's calling me.
Yeah, that's good.
Wayne also says, how come no more Gabby Cabby? I don't know that Peter Franklin is doing well. We'll try him again, maybe even this week. Maybe we'll give him a try. But it's been the last couple times we had him on last year. It was difficult to reach him. So, and that's very sad. Peter's been coming on this show and radio shows across the country for decades as the New York City guy. And he's tough to find these days. Mike says, where my son went to in Mexico, they had guards with submachine guns on either side of the beach to keep undesirables away. Son said he would never go back. We had the same thing. We went to Mexico a couple of years ago. And you see them, it's nothing to see people laying out on the beach, and all of a sudden, these military guys just walking the beach with machine guns. A 13-year-old girl is in critical condition after being hit by a car in Rome on Friday, according to state police. Crystal Seymour was walking south on Elmer Hill Road. Isaiah J. Tomasi, 20, from Rome, was driving south on the road when his car hit the girl, according to police. Tomasi and 2 15-year-old boys walking with Crystal called 911 and tried to help her. An ambulance took her to Rome Memorial Hospital, where she was then transferred to Upstate Medical Center in Syracuse. She remains in critical condition and has a traumatic brain injury. Terrible accident that occurred on Friday. Just giving you an update. Currently remaining in critical condition. Terrible story, right?
Yeah, it really is scary. And I feel bad for the driver also because he was examined afterward, was found to not be under any influences of drug or alcohol, but that's a traumatic situation for him as well. Obviously, our first concern is for the victim here who's struck by a vehicle, but it'd be difficult to get behind the wheel of a car if you were involved in an accident like that.
Did you see Rachel Ray is getting done with her program after, 16, 17 years of doing the program? It's kind of turned into a talk show these days that she really is doing, I think, from her home now.
Yeah, I was going to say, a lot of times I'll be in here and I'll look up. We've got a few different televisions on in here, and I'll see her show, and I have to be honest, the volume's down, but it always seems like she's in her house making something ever since COVID. I don't know that she ever went back to the studio.
Women have been really, I don't think she did. And I think maybe like her husband is running a camera or something.
Yeah,
but
he's in a lot of it too.
Women have been brutal with Rachel Ray. Like,
what do you mean?
She's not dressing up. She's not doing her hair. She's not putting on makeup. Like, women are really offended. I've heard women and read about women criticizing her. I guess if you're a woman, if you're a guy, you can do whatever you want, right? But if you're a woman, that's not allowed. And it's not the men that are doing the complaining. It's the women.
Well, if you're a guy, you can do whatever you want other than criticize how a woman looks.
You would not want to criticize a woman.
You got to let
No.
You got to let other women do that, apparently.
I really wonder if this is the right road to go down. A new report on the violence in upstate New York is really alarming, right? We're seeing it here. But we're not alone. It's happening in Rochester and Buffalo and New York City and Syracuse. One city has a solution, they say, and it's the city of Syracuse. They want to pay 50 gang members to stay out of trouble as part of an anti-violence, anti-gang program. Should we be paying gang members to stay out of trouble?
No.
That certainly does give a whole new definition to crime doesn't pay, or does it?
Okay, wait a minute. Now, if they're paying former gang members to be counselors or to some way educate, that maybe they do a program where they go to a school.
No, they're paying them to stay out of trouble.
That's so foolish. I think that's really foolish, because how would you know if they weren't selling drugs on the side or something like that? As long as you don't get arrested, as long as you don't get caught, you'll get paid?
I guess you're right. I mean, I guess that's where they're going with the thing. And I just don't know if this is the road we ought to be going down. It certainly doesn't seem like it's a road we should be going down. World Series of Poker, as Manaski talked about earlier, is coming back to the Turning Stone Resort and Casino. It'll last for about 12 days. And if you've been around the casino when this is going on, you get a lot of big players. You get a lot of high roller poker players that come in. And the casino and resort tends to be pretty packed. When does it begin?
The 16th?
Yeah, it's coming up. And they do really, really well with the World Series of Poker. It's coming. And there is a new medicine out that if you have a difficulty taking statins for cholesterol, it's called Nexletol. It is a brand new medicine. It's been tested by the FDA, and they say that it is it's kind of a miracle pill. It is a non-statin. Currently, they have injections you can take that are non-statin that lower cholesterol levels. This claims that it will lower cholesterol levels significantly with a pill, and in addition to that, it will lessen your chances of having a heart attack. Nexletol, Nexletol. You can ask your doctor about it.
And why is it a benefit?
Why is it a benefit?
Well, no. It varies from what's currently available.
Well, the problem is some people can't take statins. Like, I'm a person that cannot take statins. And because you get muscle pain or aches or fatigue or confusion. So they offer, for me, there's an injection that I can take. And it's a non-statin that'll lower your cholesterol level. This is a pill, And it says not only does it lower the cholesterol level, but significantly lowers your chances of having a heart attack.
Really?
Yeah. So Nexletol, Nexletol is the name of the drug. Ross this morning says, "Hey, hold on, Ross. It will come up here." He says, "Hey, I hear Mexico, New York is just beautiful at this time of year. Plenty of white sand all over the ground. Even sand that's slippery enough for you to skate on. That'd be ice." Rob says, "So we let 2 million Mexicans a year give them free medical care, a cell phone, food, and housing for entering illegal, and they shoot and kidnap our people. The country is doomed." I'm not sure these are the same people, though.
Right.
My guess. They're probably not the same people. And
well, if you relocate to Syracuse, just tell them you were part of the cartel,
they'll
pay you for not kidnapping people.
And I don't know if you recall, there was the story out that the Malaysian Airlines. We were just talking about this story the other day. Flight MH370. Do you remember? Maybe 10 years ago, the flight just disappeared.
Right.
Flying over the ocean.
Right.
The bleep on the radar screen went away. The flight disappeared. They never found wreckage. Everyone, as far as they know, perished in the flight. There is a new Netflix documentary that is coming out on that Malaysian flight, and it is filled with all sorts of conspiracy theories. Don Lemon, the reason we were talking about it is because Don Lemon had thought that maybe it had driven into and flown into if you recall, a black hole.
Yeah.
That was the story.
Well, and I've seen several maybe not documentaries, but theories on this, video specials about it.
Well, this is a documentary that's now on Netflix, and it goes through all the conspiracy theories. And maybe even Don Lemon's conspiracy theory, but I believe it's streaming right now.
There is a thought that the pilot was upset about something and essentially committed suicide. With all those passengers on board, and took the plane right off the course.
Right to the bottom of the ocean.
And no wreckage or remains of that plane have ever been found.
If you watch any of the Today Show, the late version of the Today Show, Hoda Kotb returned to the Today Show yesterday and got very emotional as she explained her absence from the show recently. My wife was all over this last night. Here she is talking to Savannah Guthrie on what happened.
My youngest, Hope, was in the ICU for a few days and in the hospital for a little more than a week. I'm so grateful she's home, and we are watching her closely. I'm just so happy. I'm grateful for the doctors at Weill Cornell who were amazing, and the nurses. And I'm grateful to my family, and I'm grateful to friends like you who were there every single day. So I want to say thank you for that. I love you.
I love you too.
Thank you.
You have a lot of friends out there.
Thank you.
Who are here with you, lifting you up, and
good.
Hope too.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, your child is in intensive care. That's pretty darn scary, right?
Yeah,
yep, I got it. And that really was, no one knew why she was not on the show. Now we know. Today's National Flapjacks Day. A flapjack is basically a pancake, I guess. And it's also
so what's different than when didn't we just have pancake?
I don't know, but Tanya might know the answer to this, and she's coming up in a second. National Flapjack Day and also National Cereal Day in the U.S. If you pay any attention to any of this, Tanya J. Power is standing by on the line right now. Is flapjack, is that kind of a Southern thing? I don't know.
I thought it was a Northern thing.
That's so funny.
I mean, we always call them, we call them pancakes. I mean,
that's what we call them, pancakes.
If anybody comes up and tells me, would you like a flapjack, I'm assuming they're from someplace that's not down in the South, but who knows?
Yeah, that's really weird.
Okay, so
find out the origin.
Quickly here. In North America, a flapjack is a pancake. Now, that's the Google definition. But further investigation finds that a flapjack is a baked bar cooked in a flat oven, tin, or cut into squares and rectangles, made from rolled oats, fat, brown sugar, and usually a golden syrup. So it's almost like a cookie, or
it's different than a pancake.
Yeah, it's almost like a cookie type texture.
Really? Interesting.
I got to dig more into that because I've heard people refer to it just as a pancake.
Well,
a
and
regular
that's
pancake.
if you Google it, it just comes up flapjack as a pancake.
Yeah.
But then if you look more into it,
Right.
there's it's a variation, I guess you would say, of a pancake.
Well, you'll be yearning for you'll be learning. You know what I'm saying? Flapjacks, yearning for them. If you travel to Mexico, a dangerous time to do so. I'm trying to think of some transition. And Tanya, I know you only have a few minutes, but this is disturbing. I mean, this minivan was only like had just driven across the border, and they were attacked.
Yeah, this was right across. It was Brownsville to Matamoros, Brownsville, Texas, into Matamoros, Mexico. I went across that crossing as a young child when we went to Mexico as on a family trip once.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, it is way busier now than it was back then. But it is a busy. This is not a remote crossing of some sort. People may not realize that this is a heavily traveled, crossing back and forth. It's about I think it's 3 miles across the Rio Grande there, the whole crossing, and it's heavily traveled. There's a lot of people who go back and forth every day for doctor's appointments or jobs or whatever. This happened on Friday when they went across the border into Matamoros, and they were going. The 4 people were traveling in a white minivan with North Carolina license plate. All 4 of them, according to the FBI, were taken from the vehicle and from the scene by armed men. There is a woman in Florence, South Carolina, that the New York Times quotes as saying that she's been in contact with the FBI after she learned that her younger brother was one of the 4 victims. Apparently, the brother, who lives in Myrtle Beach, and 2 friends had gone with another friend to Mexico, who was going. The 4th friend was going to get stomach tuck surgery. This is from, like I said, from their reporting. The first thing we'd learned originally was that the president of Mexico said yesterday that there was a confrontation between groups, and they were detained, didn't give any details really, and said that they had come to Mexico to buy medications. Apparently it's a little bit more serious than that.
Wow.
I will say the last thing I would want to do is go to Mexico for a surgery, but it's much less expensive, especially maybe if you're doing something cosmetic. Wow. Okay, Tanya, I know your time is up. We appreciate it. Have a wonderful Flapjack Day.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right. Tanya, J. Powers from Fox News. I mean, you really want to go into Mexico and have your... But I think people were going for laser eye surgery, they were going to Mexico. In the South. In the North, you would go to Canada, which I feel far more comfortable with. Back when eye surgery was just getting started, a lot of people up here would go to Canada. And in the South, a lot of people would cross over into Mexico and have it done because it was so much less expensive. But you're dealing with, I've always just thought about that, you're dealing with your eyes. I mean, what happens if something goes wrong?
Yeah, I completely
and
agree
here
with
you're getting a tummy tuck. They're going in and doing that surgery on your body, and you're going into Mexico to get it done. I don't know. I'm not overly comfortable with that.
Yeah, I completely agree because while it might be more expensive here, you have recourse, if you will, if something goes wrong.
Well, you think there are standards. I mean, there are standards here. You would think that you'd be far better off in a Mexican hospital than you would in a U.S. hospital than a Mexican hospital. Joe Rogan has been estranged. I mean, this is a country where they tell you don't drink the water because their sewer system isn't up to par. What makes you think their hospitals are up to par or their cosmetic surgery center is up to par? I'd be a little nervous about that.
Yeah, people focus on the price tag, man. They really do. Look, I can get plastic injected into my face for a third of the cost. Yeah, I'll go down there. We get a vacation out of it, too.
Joe Rogan has been estranged from his father since the 70s. Over the years, he's called him psychotic and abusive. His father and sister posted a rebuttal video claiming that Joe Rogan is absolutely wrong. His father is not psychotic, and the person who is in the wrong here is Joe Rogan. Yeah, Mr. Anti-vax, anti-this, anti-that.
Oh, I don't think he's anti-vax.
I think he is. Yeah.
No.
Well, he's a conspiracy guy.
Oh, come on, Bill. Don't buy into that crap.
Okay, here's the audio. Joe Rogan's audio. Here we go.
Lied about me. Your father. Tired of it, Joe. I just had enough. If you can't talk to me face to face, you're a punk ass. That's all you are. You got all the money, everything, but you know what you don't have? You don't have no heart. You ain't got two balls. 81 years old. You couldn't handle this guy right now.
Okay. Who do you think is in the right? Joe Rogan or his dad?
This I don't know. I
don't know. His dad sounds pretty out there.
His dad sounds out there. I've seen videos before, though, with it's a sister or a stepsister where they basically say that he's been lying about his father and what their relationship was like for years. I don't have any
Here's more audio after Rogan has called him psychotic and abusive.
You owe me a big apology.
Joe, you were taken away at a very young age. Unfortunately, you did not get to grow up with the man that we were fortunate enough to grow up with, that my kids are fortunate enough to grow up with, because you will never know what you have missed out on in life. I have a box, Pandora's box, and if I open it, Joe, things would get really ugly. But see, we don't roll that way.
Okay.
I thought that was a little, the way she said that reminded
very cryptic, right?
Reminded me of Tony's sister on The Sopranos. What was it? What was her name?
She almost sounded a little bit like Jackie.
Yeah.
Jackie.
I have a box.
Yeah.
It's Pandora's box. And if I open it, okay.
And a Boeing employee, I'll give you one more here. A Boeing employee in Washington State bought a lotto ticket with the jackpot worth $747 million as a nod to her employer. She ended up winning. Becky B. remembered that Boeing had just delivered their last Boeing 747, felt compelled to buy the ticket since the jackpot was the same number, 747. She said it's almost like an omen. Here's the director of legal services for the Washington State Lottery talking about her big winning ticket.
She decided to buy just a couple more tickets, and she hit a quick pick, so she didn't pick the numbers. She let the machine pick, took that ticket home, and found out a few days later that was the ticket.
Worth 747, Boeing 747, $747 million. Pretty cool. Dr. Kent Hall is on later on this morning. We'll speak with him. Also, Hope Bika's free money question of the day is coming up in just a bit. It's 6:51 WIBX.
On behalf of IBEW Local 43 Union Electricians and the NECA Contractors, we are pleased to partner with Syracuse University in providing our members with an opportunity to enhance their education at this great university.
Syracuse University's partnership with the IBEW will provide talented students the opportunity to advance their careers while shaping the future of the electrical trades and the industries they serve.
Central New York's future is bright, and the IBEW Local 43 and NECA will continue to help light, power, and grow Central New York.
Home and Hospital Medical Supply and the New Hartford Shopping Center proudly carries a wide selection of home medical equipment. Lift chairs to buy or rent, canes, crutches, walkers, powered scooters, braces, foot care products, and so much more. And if for some reason they don't carry the product you need, they'll custom order it at no extra charge. Mary and her experienced team are there to assist you Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, or call them 315-724-6767 and online at hnhmedicalny.com. Home and Hospital Medical Supplies, we make life easier.
If I could be you.
And you could be me for just 1 hour.
If you could find a way.
To get inside each other's mind.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out. And for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Uncertainty, the unknown. These can be some of the greatest fears people face. There is a chance for a life of greater certainty that the Rome Rescue Mission provides. We call it a hand up, not a handout. The Rome Rescue Mission provides the basic necessities and the skills needed to start a new life. It starts simply with someone to talk to. Knowing that someone cares. The Rome Rescue Mission strives to meet basic needs, food, shelter, and clothing, but more importantly, provides emotional and spiritual support. The Rome Rescue Mission helps people start a new and promising life. Being in need is not a choice. Helping is. An unlimited future starts at the Rome Rescue Mission through your generous support. Make a difference and donate now. RomeMission.org. That's RomeMission.org. Rome Rescue Mission, a hand up, not a handout.
The Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills is accepting new patients if you're in need of a new family doctor, if you're having pains and aches, sleep fatigue, ADHD, any issue that you might be having, if you're in need of a family doctor. It's the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills, the area's premier osteopathic medical clinic, and they're accepting new patients. Dr. Shemaleski, Dr. Zielinski, and others at the facility are taking on new patients. I was actually there for an appointment yesterday dealing with a bit of a sleep disorder, and it was very interesting, the treatment, and I will go back in 2 weeks. They'll be in studio to talk about it early tomorrow morning.
Well, the audience agrees you have a disorder, although it's up in the air whether or not it's sleep.
Good point. Yes, many think the disorder is well into the brain tissue. Either way, is someone in your family considering medical marijuana? This might be an option for pain without the addictive side effects of opioids. Call the Falcon Clinic today and schedule an appointment. If you already have a family doctor, but you're dealing with some sort of an issue, the Falcon Clinic could very well be the answer with an osteopathic approach. Have you been tested for hepatitis C? It's prevalent in baby boomers and is 100% curable. Dr. Shemaleski is Hep C certified. Call today, 315-507-4751, or visit them online, falconclinic.com. The Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills. The Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, I want to give you something that is unbelievable. In my opinion, I am shocked that this actually exists, but it does. It is a service online that is right now experimental and absolutely free. I'll tell you where you could actually sign up for it and utilize it.
Okay.
This is going to blow your mind.
Let's hear it.
So it is artificial intelligence that can be used for anything. Say you want to write a song or a poem. You put in the topic, the artificial intelligence writes it for you. Let's see Flapjack. Flapjack. I'm just going to type in Flapjack. Now, this will write for you a dissertation on I believe, unless they don't know flaps. We'll see if artificial intelligence has learned about flapjacks yet. But it will write it for you. Want to write a song? It'll write it. Want to write a paragraph? It'll write it. Want to write your blog for the day? It'll write it.
Oh, now you're speaking my language.
All right, let's see what happens.
Now, this stuff scares me, though, because what do you need humans for? That's what it comes down to in my mind. What do you need humans for? If you have robots and machines that can think for you, write for you, speak for you, think for you, what do you need us for?
I don't think it knows anything about flapjacks.
Well, there you go.
All right.
You're still on the team, bud.
Pick up, give me a topic, any topic that you'd like, Davey. Okay, how about this?
Hot dog.
Before we do hot dogs, and I'll go to hot dogs in a second, I'm going to click on write a song about old drivers. All right?
Now, you have this software on your phone?
It's an app. Okay, hold on. They've lived a long, it's already written. The whole song is written. Are you ready? They've lived a long and happy life, but driving's now a source of strife. Eyesight failing, slowing down, on the road they wear a frown. Here's the chorus. Old people driving can barely see, struggling to navigate the road with ease. They've got their pride and their memories, but maybe it's time to retire the keys.
It sounds like the Beverly Hillbillies thing.
Well, I threw my own melody in there. Can you believe that?
That was very good,
And
actually.
it comes with like another 2 verses. All artificial intelligence. You need to write something. I hate to say this, but kids are going to use this. Kids are going to use this. I mean,
You don't understand what I'm saying, though? You take the creativity out. You don't have to think. I'm really worried for the next generation. They're going to be morons. When there's a power outage, people talk about, like, if there's ever a major power outage, like, it could really be devastating. For the generation that grows up with this technology and they don't know how to do anything for themselves, when there's a power outage, they're screwed.
I almost feel like they're going to be better off. Like, they have these tools that just make life so much easier.
Okay,
sorry,
Bill,
it
if
says
the
only
internet goes
one
down,
message
though.
is at time is the responses. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
If the internet goes down, though, what happens to your song?
Well, you'd have to write your own song. But isn't it amazing?
Who would write their own song if you can come up with something like that?
I realize you're negative on this, and I'm saying imagine the time saving. I mean, it's just unbelievable. But I just wrote a song parody. It wasn't even a song parody. It's an original song about old people driving, and I didn't write it. It was written in just a mere couple of seconds.
Can we pick this up on the other side?
I
Because
will.
then what is your value? What becomes your value?
I know where the app is, and I'm able to get it on my phone.
Okay.
And meanwhile, I'm out in Tahiti on the beach while my app is doing all the work. We'll get into it on the other side. Coming up, WIBX Utica Rome.
He wants to raise taxes, but not for most of us. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's in President Biden's budget plan for the next fiscal year. He'll give Congress on Thursday with a goal to make Medicare solvent through 2050.
The White House plans to propose a plan that would raise taxes on Americans making $400,000 and above, while also reducing what Medicare pays for some prescription drugs.
Fox Business Network Cheryl Casoni, the proposed tax hike may be blocked by House Republicans. The GOP-led House is also investigating COVID's origins and have made public emails from key COVID advisor Dr. Anthony Fauci showing he may have led the way and had final approval on a paper from scientists in February 2020 before the pandemic was declared, shooting down any theory that the virus leaked from a lab in China. Recent FBI and Energy Department assessments call the COVID lab leak likely. Yet another reason China's upset at us.
The U.S. needs to change its view of China or risk conflict and confrontation. The view of China's Foreign Minister Qin Gang. Qin, with a tailor-made analogy, viewing China as a primary rival is like putting the first button of your shirt in the wrong hole. It's similar to the unusually direct language used by President Xi Jinping on Monday, criticizing the U.S. for leading the West in encircling his country.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. 4 Americans still haven't been heard from since they were kidnapped in Matamoros, Mexico, Friday, in an area the U.S. tells us not to go to.
Their families left shaken by video that's widely circulating on social media. And so what you can see are men in bulletproof vests forcing the U.S. citizens into the back of a pickup truck. One woman is shoved into the flatbed while the limp bodies of 2 men appear to be dragged in beside her.
Fox's Alexandria Hoff. They're from South Carolina. One of them was going to Mexico to get cosmetic surgery, a tummy tuck. The FBI has a $50,000 reward for their return and arrests. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey, if you're in the market for a new firearm, well, you're not going to do better than one made by our great friends at Henry Repeating Arms. And by the way, you're looking for something light and easy to transport, you got to check out their U.S. Survival Rifle. Now, you can take it apart, put it back together in seconds when you need to. It's compact, so you can carry it everywhere, only 3.5 pounds, just 16 inches when it's disassembled. Now, it comes in black and 3 types of camo, and it's affordable. You can pick one up from between $250 and $400, depending on the finish. And like all Henry firearms, they're made in the U.S., and they're backed by a lifetime satisfaction guarantee. As a matter of fact, you can watch a few video reviews. Just go to henryusa.com/survival. That's henryusa.com/survival. And while you're there, make sure you order your free catalog. You get free decals, over 200 models to choose from. You can't go wrong with any of them. henryusa.com. Get your free catalog, free decals, and a list of dealers where you are. Check out the U.S. Survival Rifle.
We've got some morning sunshine, 25 degrees. WIBX News time is 7:03. This news update is brought to you by Jackson Hewitt. Be 100% certain about your taxes and get 50% off tax preparation. 50% is a limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for full terms. A New Hartford man being held in the county jail after allegedly pointing a gun at an undercover sheriff's investigator. Sheriff Rob Mayshiel says Jaden Angleton and the undercover investigator were traveling in separate vehicles on Burstone Road in the city of Utica when Angleton allegedly pointed a weapon at him. The investigator then followed his vehicle and initiated a traffic stop soon after. The 21-year-old suspect tossed his gun out the window, officials say. The weapon was ultimately recovered a short distance from the vehicle. Angleton does not have a New York State pistol permit for the Glock gun that he was carrying. He's now facing felony-level charges of criminal possession of a firearm, criminal possession of a weapon. He was also hit with a misdemeanor charge of menacing and is being held in the Oneida County Jail on $5,000 cash bail. A 13-year-old girl was struck by a vehicle and remains in critical condition after suffering a traumatic brain injury. State police say the accident happened just after 7 p.m. on Saturday night on Elmer Hill Road. The teen, Crystal Seymour, was walking southbound on Elmer Hill Road and was struck by a sedan driven by 20-year-old Isaiah Tomasi. Troopers say Tomasi immediately pulled over and called 911, then began to assist the victim. Seymour was first taken to Rome Memorial Hospital, then transported to Upstate University Hospital. A drug recognition expert examined the 20-year-old driver and found no signs of drug or alcohol impairment. The investigation into the incident is continuing. Lots of poker being played up at Turning Stone Resort and Casino. The iconic World Series of Poker circuit is making its way to Central New York for a tournament you will not forget. It's kicking off March 16th at the Turning Stone Resort Casino, bringing 12 days of nonstop poker action. Thousands from across the Northeast will be competing in the tournament, looking to take their stab at over $1 million in guaranteed payouts. Competitors will also be shooting for one of 16 World Series of Poker gold rings and a seat at the $1 million Tournament of Champions coming up later this year in Las Vegas. More details on that story at WIBX950.com. A new country music concert has been added to this year's lineup at the St. Joseph's Health Amphitheater at Lakeview. Sam Hunt will be taking the stage on Friday, August 25th at 7:30. It's the Summer on the Outskirts tour. Hunt will be set to be joined by special guests Lily Rose and Brett Young. Tickets go on sale this Friday morning through Live Nation. And tax season is underway, and State Attorney General Letitia James issuing tips to help taxpayers avoid some tax schemes. James says common scams involve people being told their legitimate tax refund from the IRS was a mistake and that they need to return it. Scammers are also making promises that they will prepare tax returns for free, only to deceive you into paying for those services. Again, more details on that at WIBX950.com.
I'm Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint at the WIBX Weather Center. Today, this Tuesday, breezy, colder with a few light snow flurries, a high of 29. Tonight, mainly cloudy, still blustery, lows 15 to 20. And for Wednesday, unseasonably chilly with a few snow flurries, a high near 30. For more on your local forecast, tune to Eyewitness News at 6 on WUTR. I'm meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
Right now, we have some sunshine, 25 degrees. WIBX News time is 7:07.
According to the IBEW Local 43 Sports Desk, we have some action for you, and a lot of the March Madness getting set to get underway. Conference tournaments this week. Davey, Colgate plays on Wednesday for the championship, Wednesday night, right?
Yeah, you got Syracuse tomorrow, and then you got Colgate tomorrow night.
Syracuse plays Wake Forest again tomorrow, and that is a noon game. Colgate plays tomorrow night.
7:30 for Colgate.
If Colgate wins, they've won their conference. They move on to the NCAA tournament. If Syracuse wins, they can pull off a victory. They move on to Thursday's game at noon, and they will end up playing number 1 seed Miami.
Right.
You believe that's a game? Many believe that's a game Syracuse could win.
I think they're going to make a run.
And you know what? It's their only chance. No NIT, no NCAA tournament if they don't make a run. The Giants appear to be getting closer to a long-term deal with Manaski's favorite quarterback.
I hope not.
According to Sports Illustrated, the G-Men and Daniel Jones agents have closed in on a financial gap significantly. The two sides are still hoping to get something done ahead of the franchise tag deadline. Jones has been seeking as much as $48 million per season on average. Derek Carr is heading to the NFC. The quarterback signed a 4-year deal with the New Orleans Saints on Monday. Julius Randle is the number 1 player of the week, and the Knicks will host the Hornets. The Nets officially announced Noel signing. Visit the Rockets tonight. The Devils host the Maple Leafs tonight as well. And in Major League Baseball, some action. The Yankees have won back-to-back games in preseason after blowing out the Pittsburgh Pirates 9-2 in Tampa. Aaron Judge went deep with a 3-run shot for his first long ball of the spring season. And Jose Quintana, the Mets are dealing with an injury in their starting rotation already. Quintana suffered a small stress fracture in his 5th rib on his left side. The left-hander left his spring training outing on Sunday because of side tightness before announcing he was withdrawing from the World Baseball Classic. Isn't it like the Mets with injuries already in preseason?
Yeah, but DeGrom isn't. DeGrom is already, I guess. Well, last I knew he was sidelined, but he's not in the Mets uniform this year. So I guess somebody else has got to step up and be injured instead.
I believe DeGrom is back. He was I'm not sure he's made it into the spring training rotation, but he was back at least warming up and throwing the ball around. They say he's okay, but what else are they going to say, right? I want to talk more about this artificial intelligence coming up in just a bit here. This is a website. It's currently doing research, so right now it's absolutely free, and it will write stuff for you. You have to write an obituary. You have to write a little paragraph or something, something for work, something for fun. You want to write a little song or a poem. It will do it for you.
I just, for instance, you bring many talents to the table. One of them, and people know you for this for decades, is your parody songs.
I do enjoy writing those.
Okay.
But, I could use something like this as a thought starter. Or think about, you're here at the radio station. We're required to write so many stories per day online. I swear to God, this could write it for you. It's unbelievable.
You would have to submit the appropriate
I'm writing
info.
a story about this today, and I'm going to let AI write it.
Okay.
Artificial intelligence. We'll get more into it. And maybe you want to throw a topic at the website. If you want to throw a little something at it, you can call us at 315-736-0186. See what it's able to do. Sometimes if it's tricky, it takes a little while. And then it starts...
5 seconds. Instead of 2 seconds,
well,
it takes 5.
I did one just here. I did, let's see what came up, and I'll do more. I put in flapjacks, and it took about 2 minutes.
Really?
And then all of a sudden it started writing. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Flapjacks are a type of sweet snack or dessert that is made from rolled oats, butter, sugar, and syrup. They're popular in the United Kingdom and other parts of the world. To make flapjacks, so there's your origin, by the way.
Yeah.
To make flapjacks, the oats are mixed with melted butter, sugar, and syrup, and then baked in the oven until they are golden brown. The resulting snack is dense, a dense, chewy, and sweet treat. Flapjacks are often enjoyed as a quick energy boost or a dessert, and they can be customized with various ingredients such as nuts, dried fruits, or chocolate chips. While flapjacks can be tasty, they are also high in sugar and calories, so it's important to try them in moderation as part of a balanced diet. Additionally, individuals with celiac disease or gluten intolerance should be cautious, as many flapjack recipes contain oats which may be contaminated with gluten. I mean, that is unbelievable.
Yeah, but that's a definition, though. That's not a creative...
No, that is not a definition. That is a write about flapjacks. A definition would be something of a line or two. This just wrote a bit of a dissertation on flapjacks, all basing it on probably stuff that it's finding through Google and finding online.
Right. So here's what I mean. Tell it to do a parody song on Mayor Rob Palmieri.
Well, that it would not be able to do.
Pretty soon, I'm sure that it will.
Well, maybe
and then you and I will be out of business.
Maybe it could do it. Maybe it could do local things. I mean, if you can grab information on Palmieri online, I'll bet you it probably could do it. But it wouldn't. I can't imagine it would know. You'd have to say, well, let's try it. Let's try it on the other side. See what happens. We'll try it on the other side. Artificial intelligence. 7:13 at WIBX.
I can't take this kitchen any longer. Carl, we need to start looking for a new house.
Honey, you know the housing market is tight. It's going to be next to impossible to find something that we like.
I know, but this kitchen has to go.
Hey, what about a home equity loan from Adirondack Bank? We can turn the equity from our home into cash to renovate, just the way you want.
Renovate?
Adirondack Bank has competitive rates, and they've been a trusted community bank for decades.
A new kitchen. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah.
Then, of course, we would need new furniture, and we could repair the deck, even add a pool, and take that trip to Italy that we've always talked about.
Whoa, slow down, honey. Let's go talk to the experts at Adirondack Bank about that home equity loan. Then we can decide where to start.
I've always wanted to add on a craft room, and our bathroom needs a facelift.
Don't move. Improve. Stop into your local Adirondack Bank branch for more information on a home equity loan or visit AdirondackBank.com. Bank local with Adirondack Bank, your hometown community bank. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
People who come to Cricket stay with Cricket, just like our customer, Michelle. As an entrepreneur, every day is different. My phone bill from Cricket, on the other hand, always stays the same. Without surprises, hidden fees, or annual contracts, I can work worry-free. That's Michelle, everybody, doing business like a boss. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Real customer paid for testimonial. See cricketwireless.com for details.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Menthol is not just a flavor. It's a manipulative way for big tobacco to target, attract, and addict Black Americans. Tobacco companies aggressively market menthol products using elements of Black culture, putting more products on shelves in Black communities, and making them cheaper. And it's not just an injustice, it's killing us. Smoking-related illnesses are the #1 cause of death in the African American community. Help us fight this injustice at notjustmenthol.org.
Research shows listeners prefer a personalized experience. So to help you remember Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance, we personalized this ad for Amber, who really misses boy bands from the 90s.
Hey girl, I'm the cute one, here to tell you how Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
I'm the heartthrob. The only thing I love more than you is saving. And I'm the other boy in the band everyone forgot about.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Well, good morning. Good morning. We're playing around with artificial intelligence this morning. You know it was coming eventually, right? You know it was coming. You just knew it was coming eventually. So I'll share this in a moment, and if you want to sign up for it, you can. You can play with it yourself on your phone, on your computer. It's a website. I call it an app. It's not an app. It's a website. And it'll tell you that right now it is in research. It is researching. So it's trying to get better. It's trying to get better. You can literally tell it to write a song. And wouldn't that be a great idea to get started? Like, I know that some of the hardest times when I'm trying to work on a bit of some sort for the radio, the hardest part is getting started. And to be able to pop that into an artificial intelligence app or website and have it write an entire song, you could then take that as the basis and then create your own from that. Use it as a thought starter. Or maybe you want to write something about a certain topic out there. What did you say, Mayor Palmieri?
Yeah.
Let's put it in. So I'm going to type in, and I did. This I did during the break. Song about Utica Mayor Rob Palmieri. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
It responded instantly. I'm sorry, but I cannot generate inappropriate or offensive content. As it's not that he's inappropriate or offensive, it's that it stays away from politics.
Okay.
As an AI language model, my responses are based on the input I receive from users, and I strive to provide information and helpful responses that are respectful and appropriate for all audiences. If you have any other questions or requests, feel free to ask. So I typed in Utica, New York. Utica is a city located in Oneida County in the state of New York, USA. It has a population of approximately 60,000 people and is situated in the Mohawk Valley region of the state. Utica is known for its diverse population and rich cultural heritage, and with a significant number of residents of Italian, Irish, and other European ancestry. It also is home to many refugees and immigrants from around the world, giving the city a unique and vibrant character. Kids, students are going to have a field day with this. They're going to have you got to write a paper. You're using this left and right. It's unbelievable.
It seems like it's just pulling from multiple internet sources information that you would find.
Okay.
Yeah.
Step back there. Step back
No,
there.
it's serious.
Soon to be an umpire. This is going to be doing your job soon.
Yeah, okay.
Listen to this. Listen to this. I typed in song about Utica, New York.
Okay.
Now, that would be a little more of an effort, don't you think?
Correct. Then just an explanation of what and where and who makes up the city of Utica.
Because you could type in Google Utica, New York, and
Right.
you might end up...
Go to a wiki page and get that info.
But the difference is you're going to someone else's writing. With this, it is writing it from the artificial intelligence. So it is a unique writing. It's not something that you could find anywhere else on
what do you mean? The way the
internet.
The way the words are organized?
The way they're writing it, the way it's being written. Listen to this. Song about Utica, New York. In the heart of upstate New York lies a city that's so much more than just a place to rest your head. It's a melting pot of cultures. That's what Utica is. Utica, oh Utica, a city that's so full of life. From the Erie Canal to the Adirondacks, you'll find everything you need in Utica. It's a city with history that's rooted in industry, from textiles to the railway. Utica has always been a place where people came to stay. Utica, oh Utica, a city that's so full of life. From the Erie Canal to the Adirondacks, you'll find everything you need in Utica, New York. And through the winters, and though the winters can be long, I mean, that's crazy that it is able to get that information. And though the winters can be long and the snow can be deep, the people of Utica are strong, and their spirit runs so deep. Utica, oh Utica, a city that's so full of life. From the Erie Canal to the Adirondacks, you'll find everything you need in Utica, New York. So come and visit Utica and see what it's all about. You'll fall in love with this city and never want to be without.
So nothing rhymed until the end.
Well, songs don't always rhyme.
Yeah, but it's...
I'm just saying, songs don't always rhyme. It comes with verses, a chorus, and a bridge, and what it's calling the outro, which is that last one that did rhyme. I'm just saying, this is incredible. And what about that song I wrote about old people driving? That had a rhyme in every verse.
You didn't write it, Bill.
Who knows that, though? People will think I wrote it. I mean, you're going to write. It's not plagiarism. It's artificial intelligence.
But it is plagiarism, isn't it?
No, it's artificial intelligence. You've just gotten someone else to write it for you. Throw out another topic as I'm going to Dr. Hall here. Pick something. Davey, you think of something.
Okay, here we go. Because somebody was just asking me the other day. They tested positive for COVID.
No,
ask them how long.
Hold on. I've got another one. Song about having your, I don't know, this might not be able to do this. Song about having your mojo. All right? So I've been actually working on a Davey song, and I haven't gotten anywhere with it. But who knows? Maybe this can pull it off. All artificial intelligence. For God's sakes, I had cancer surgery, and while it was, and Dr. Hall can talk about this, it was robotic. I mean, robots not operating it. It was still a physician that was operating it, but it's still an incredible invention when you think about it. And it's so very precise. Oh, my God, they're writing it. It's writing a song about mojo.
Now, you can see like a pen.
Oh, watch, it's writing.
Going up and down on the.
Look at, you can see it writing.
Oh yeah, it looks like it's just typing.
It's typing away, nearly as fast as when I type when I've got an idea.
Look, you can give your
Oh
robotics.
my God, this is going to be about Davy. I'm taking this song and rewriting it about Davy. It's still going. There's the bridge. Sometimes we lose our way and we don't know what to do. But if we keep on moving forward, we'll find our way through. We just need to believe in ourselves and never give up the fight. And when we get our mojo back, everything will be all right. Wow. That's unbelievable. And it's still writing, by the way. It's just a long song. This is like Inagata Vida here. This is a long one.
Oh, boy. Look, I think Dr. Hall's going to side with me, despite the fact that the robotic technology. Doc, in the future, am I going to see you or my family physician, or is it going to be just some wall that I talk to, and the doctor's going to tell me how much rest I need, what medicine I should take, and what fluids I should be drinking?
I think that should that ever happen, and I am skeptical that it would, it is a long, long ways away. So the robot that's used for surgery, actually, to your point, is is a really great tool because it does allow the transference of hand manipulation into very fine movements of the robotic arms. And it allows for very precise movements of, whether it's scalpels or scissors or, anything else that is in there to try and take care of whatever the issue is. What you have to understand is that everybody's anatomy is the same and different. So if you've had prior surgeries in your abdomen, say you've had your appendix out or you've had prior surgery on your intestines or something like that, then by definition you will have some amount of scar tissue. So your anatomy will not be necessarily quote unquote normal. It will be different, and you need somebody looking at it to say, what is that and what should I do with it? So we're not anywhere near that from an artificial intelligence standpoint. Could we get there in 50 years or 100 years as these algorithms get more advanced? I suppose it's possible, but certainly not in my lifetime.
I really, I never disagree with you, but I will disagree with this. I think that what we've seen through time and technology is, think about what man has created over the centuries and centuries. We always have been accelerating. Our ability to advance has accelerated, and we're in the middle. So think about the Industrial Revolution. It was an amazing acceleration of technology and ability using machinery in the world. But now look at today with computers. It is accelerated to such a point. By the time I get my new iPhone, there's a new one out and I got to upgrade. I mean, it's just, I realize that's a ridiculous example, but Doc, it is kind of scary when you think about how quickly we are accelerating advancement today.
No, I would agree with that, and that's why I never say never, and I agree that that things have advanced significantly. I still think, given the complexity of having to deal with the unknown all over the place, that is a ways away. Am I right at being 50 years? No, it may be less than that, but it is certainly not going to be next week.
I certainly understand, and I realize that it took a very proficient physician on the other end of that robotic unit that you guys have in order to complete the surgery properly, right? I mean, and that really is the beauty. That I felt like the beauty of the robotic surgery was that they can go in and it's less invasive. They can go in and they can make a turn that maybe the human was not able to do without cutting deeper, and I'm sure you can talk more about that.
Right. No. So I think that's really what you're describing is spot on. So yeah. What what the robot allows is basically 3 or 4 relatively small, what I would call puncture wounds, that allows the robotic arms and the instruments to be inserted, and then all of the turning is done inside of the body. Whereas, if you were doing it with hands, then obviously you need to be able to put your hands and your arms in, and so that in and of itself is just larger.
Yeah.
And so you're right, but it does take, at this point in time, it does take a human being who looks at it and says, and not only a human being, but a really smart, surgeon, to be able to say, what am I looking at, and is that something that I should cut or not, or is it something that I should move out of the way so that I can get to what I want to get to? And that's where when I speak about the computer algorithms that are going to need to be developed so that this could become truly robotic or independent, are a ways away. So that's my thoughts on it.
I certainly would expect it to be a ways away based on our current technologies, but it is amazing how quickly we're advancing. And this particular website that is labeling itself as artificial intelligence, to be able to write and I'm sorry, you can all, Manaski's over there snickering because people are making comments. The fact is, if you don't think kids in school are going to be using this to write their essays, let me tell you, I shouldn't have said it that way. If you don't think they're already using it, because I got this app from my son, who was like, "You're not going to believe this. You check this out. This is scary," and it is a bit scary. But there'll be right now, if you copy something off the web or you steal something from Google and you plagiarize, you write it into your report. It's pretty easy for the professor to be able to put that in. They can run a check on it and see if that exists anywhere else in the internet. And if it does, you plagiarized, you cheated, you fail. This is almost as if you have written it. It is a one and only piece of writing that you're putting in, claiming it's yours, and it never was. It's pretty scary.
Is that true? Like, if you asked it to do another song about Mojo, it would come up with something completely different?
I believe so. I haven't tried that yet. I should try that.
I've got some requests. That's why I was laughing. We've got a list of requests here.
I'm going to go through.
Loving this.
This is the coolest thing, Doc. And at the same time, I mean, you've studied medicine. You've studied. I can't imagine what you go through with medical school. But does this scare you a little bit?
So it doesn't. Does it scare me? It is something that I think should be concerning to people, only because I think that it can be a great tool. However, tools can be used for nefarious deeds, and so I think we need to be careful and aware of it. And part of my concern with as you rightly point out how fast things are going is that we don't always get the opportunity to actually think through things. I mean, think about the manufacturing or the development of gunpowder. That was something that was going to be positive, and you could argue that it's not necessarily always positive.
Well, and it also is something that changed the world, right?
Correct.
Absolutely changed the world.
So, I will also say that from a surgeon standpoint, the one of the most important things that a surgeon learns is when not to operate, when it would actually be beneficial or more beneficial for this individual patient to have a different approach. And that's something that a robot that we're way, way, way away from.
Yeah. The one thing, though, that does, you call your cable system or whatever, and, if you did it 10 years ago and we've got this new automated system. I am an automated attendant. You can ask me certain things. And it would always be horrible. In fact, you could even trick the system, and it would almost like I would envision back at the cable building where the computer is, there's smoke coming out of the computer because I completely confused the computer. But if you get those... If you get those today, it's so much better. You can still tell it's not a real human, but it's gotten so much better in 10 years. I wonder what it will have, how well it will be in the next 10 years going forward, or maybe 20 years down the road. If they've gotten this good with the technology we currently have, what will they be able to do in 20 years?
What do you need humans for?
What would you need humans for?
Yeah.
It's pretty
so
scary.
It's interesting. So you asked it to create a song about Mojo, and what it gave you was the lyrics.
Correct.
What about the music?
Well, that's interesting, and I don't know that that's very interesting, right? At what point will artificial intelligence be able to create the musical notes to go along with the song it just wrote? Yeah, that's a really good point. I never even thought about that, Doc.
Yeah, so
you wouldn't have to. AI already thought of it.
Well, go ahead again, Doc. Sorry.
I'm sorry. What it created was basically
a poem, almost. Yeah, like a poem and the lyrics for the song. It's just. But for me, I look at that as what an. I know someone. My son was telling me about somebody that uses it as a thought starter. So he does a lot of creative things for his job, and what he uses it as he'll type in the topic, and it'll come up with something, and then he builds off that and uses his own, puts his own touch on it, and creates his own piece of whatever artwork or whatever it is that he's trying to accomplish. But it is interesting. That's all I'm saying. It is very, very interesting. And now I have Davey's song on Mojo already pre-written, and it's an original, not a parody, by the way.
So here's another potential downside is, when back when I was a kid, we had paper maps that we had in cars and stuff, and we would kind of figure out where we were going to go.
Right.
In the car but before we ever got in the car. Now we have basically electronic maps that are in the car, and basically not only are there but actually will tell us when to turn right and left. It does make me think that people are losing the ability to navigate the way that we used to because of how we used to learn versus how we're being led now.
Well, that's
similar to
your point.
When I was young, calculators didn't exist actually when I was in elementary school. When I was in college, I got my first calculator, which basically did addition and subtraction, and I think it did square roots.
And it also, if I'm correct, it also wrote the word hello if you turned it upside down.
Very good. Yes, it did. But I still find that I can do math in my head pretty well. I can do addition and subtraction and multiplication pretty well. I challenge my kids to be able to do the same thing, and they struggle a lot more because they're used to punching numbers onto a screen, and it just comes up with it. So they didn't develop that, what I would call a mental muscle, and that's something that I think that we may be losing. And if you think about being able to write and things like that, I mean, writing is an art, and it is something that you learn over time. And if you're going to some kind of chatbot to actually write for you, then what are you not going to be able to do in the future?
Doc, 1,000%. This is the point I was trying to make, and you laid it out exactly. That's my concern with this. Not that it's not fun or creative or a great tool, but I just wonder when we start to rely on this stuff, what do we lose?
Well, it's funny that a very good example of this is your contact app on your phone. If you go back 30 years, we didn't have that. And you had a phone book, but you know what you had in your head was every friend and family member's number in your head. You could recite it. Today, I can't even tell you, and of course we have a lot more to. If you had one phone number at your house, now think about it. Family of 5 has 5.
Yeah.
Right? But you remembered those numbers. Today, we don't remember phone numbers. I couldn't tell you my kids' telephone numbers. They're in my address book, and I pull up their name, and it automatically dials. I couldn't tell you the number. But I remember my home phone number from 55 years ago, and it still exists. It's still my parents' phone number. I remember that number by heart.
Yeah, and actually, I'm exactly the same way. I can actually recite exactly what my phone number was at the house when I grew up. But I know one or two of my kids' numbers, but I don't know all of them. And if I lost my phone, I would be
We'd be lost. Yeah,
not a good place.
By the way, I also could tell you at least 4 of my girlfriend's telephone numbers, not from way back when, right? Not their numbers, but their parents' numbers. I could tell you those numbers off the top of my head. We don't have that ability anymore.
Oh boy!
Rob says kids looking at a clock today and can't tell the time. Yeah, that's it. That's analog digital. It's a whole thing today. We kind of stayed off topic, Doc, and I apologize for that. Quickly, I'm finding there is, if there was a tip you could give, I would think have a fresh mask handy, because I'm finding that depending on where I go, if it's for a doctor's appointment, if it's at sometimes you're going into a regular business, it varies. While the majority of people don't require masks today, all of a sudden you're walking in a place and they say, "Would you please put on a mask?" I had that happen to me yesterday, and I didn't have a mask. I had to go out to the car, and I found one. I hate to say it, but I found one.
Tucked under the seat?
It was under the seat. But I had to have a mask to get in. So a little advice on that going forward. Everybody seems to have a different rule in their place.
Yeah, and that's going to be the world that we're living in for a little while yet. So I would my advice is exactly that. I have a number of masks in my glove compartments, really, of all of my cars, my wife's car, my kid's car, and my car. To make sure that I have them available to me. And when I'm going to a place that I haven't been to for, like when I go into the mall, I put one in my pocket just so I've got it, because I don't know what I'm going to be running into. And there are times when I will go into a store and I will put on a mask, especially in the last, I would say, couple months when we've really seen a pretty high transmission of COVID and of other respiratory around the area. Thankfully, it does seem to be going down. The numbers of patients hospitalized within the health system has gone down somewhat over the last 3 weeks. We're still running in the high teens or low 20s, but we're not in the mid 30s, which is where we were about a month or so ago.
I immediately threw 2 in my pocket just to have them there, because you just don't know when somebody says. And you know what? I'm not political with this whole thing. If someone prefers that I wear a mask, and I'm walking into their place, isn't it just common courtesy to be like, all right, I'll do what you want? But you tell me I don't have to, I'm taking it off. But there's a little common courtesy there, so I put it in my pocket. With medical facilities, in some cases still requiring it, you have no choice. If you don't put it on, you can't come in. So
correct.
Good idea to have one in the pocket.
The Department of Health, the New York State Department of Health, has changed its recommendations. What they've done is basically said, rather than following what New York State Department of Health says, it says that we need to follow what the CDC says. The CDC is saying that if there is high transmissibility within the area, then healthcare facilities should require masks in any area where patients can be interacted with. And so, and we have high transmissibility within Oneida County, so we require everybody that comes in that's going to be in a patient area to be wearing a mask. We don't require it necessarily. Like I'm sitting in my office now, I do not have a mask on. And so when we're in areas where patients would not be, then we don't have to.
Doc, as always, we appreciate it. Dr. Kent Hall from MVHS. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, everybody. Please have a great day, and please be safe.
Thank you, Dr.
You do
Hall.
the same, Dr. Kent Hall. I'll get more into the artificial intelligence, and we'll take people's. You want a message in? You want to call us with an idea for this thing to write a song or something about? I'll run it. We'll run it through artificial intelligence. So get ready for that. Coming up in a few minutes. First, though, man, I have a Bicus free money question coming up. Before I get to all of that. Ladies and gentlemen, what an honor. The former president of the United States, ladies and gentlemen, President Donald J. Trump. Good morning.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you. Please. I was just listening to your tremendous show. I think you're doing really a great job, perhaps one of the greatest jobs. You listen to some of these other stations, they're horrible.
Yeah.
They're deadbeats, they're flunkies, they're third rate, they're really total idiots, and you fall asleep very quickly when you listen to them, but I listen to you and it keeps me up, so I'm very happy about that.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you so much. I know you had a busy weekend. I mean, you were at CPAC, and you're out, you're campaigning. What's going on?
Well, I did very well at CPAC. We expected that. We expected the numbers were going to be through the roof, which they were. We did very well, and I got out. I got a standing ovation, and that included the people in the wheelchairs. They stood right up, right? They stood right up. They loved me. Did well. We had thousands and thousands and thousands of people. They were pouring in. It went all the way to the back. And as usual, the fake news, they wouldn't show it. They wouldn't turn the cameras around. They'll never show it because they're fake, right? They're totally fake.
They are. It's just unbelievable how they won't show the positives. They'll try to do it with Biden, but when it comes to you, and what about Biden? Is there any way you think he can run? I mean, think about it.
Well, first of all, he can't even walk, to be honest with you. Right? He can barely walk. And, when Sleepy Joe became president, he said, I want to hit the ground running. But we didn't know that was face first getting on a metal staircase on Air Force One. Right? He doesn't know who he is. He doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know where the hell he is. He doesn't even know he's alive.
What about some of the there's a line forming, Mr. President, to run against you for the Republican nomination for the next presidential election.
Well,
what do you think is some?
Really, the only competition is Ron DeSanctimonious, but I helped Ron out a lot. He was losing very badly a couple of years ago, and I came in, I campaigned for him, and he actually did very well, thanks to me. But after that, he would have been dead in the water, but I did very well with that. I helped him out a lot, and now he wants to run, which I think is pretty sad because he's going to get beaten very quickly. I can tell you that.
And what about
back? We have to listen. Look.
Yeah.
Look. I had a beautiful life. You know this. I had beautiful life. I had some great things. I had so much money, and I was playing golf, and I was doing so well. But I said to myself, we got to come back because look at what the hell happened to this country. It's going to hell. It's going to hell. You look at it. It's terrible. Forget about socialism. We're heading right to communism. You know that.
We are. What about?
And by the way,
yes.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Excuse me. I call them Democrats. You know I call them that, right? I call them Democrats.
Yes.
Because when I win, they're going to poop right in their pants. I can tell you that. We are going to turn so many states red that the U.S. map is going to look like Russia.
Oh, man.
Well, Mr. Beautiful. And then you got Kamala Harris. I call her Kamala the Communist. They said, go to the border. She went to the border cafe restaurant. She talked to two Mexicans. She went out. She left. And we had a great wall. You know that.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Wall.
Yes.
And it's terrible because now they're pouring in. They're coming in by the thousands. And we had such a beautiful one. We had the biggest one. I don't know if you know that. But we had the biggest.
It was.
And actually, some guy came up to me. And one stupid reporter came up to me. He said, is it the biggest? I said, we're the biggest. He said, what about the other big ones? I said, which ones? He said, what about the Great Wall of China? And I said, the Great Wall of China is not even a big wall. It looks like a big wall because Chinese people are like 3 feet tall, right?
Mr. President, I'm not sure you can say that, but yes, I guess you're right. You did build a wonderful wall. We're really excited at the fact that you called us this morning. Mr. President, thank you so much for taking the time.
You're welcome. I'm heading out to play golf. I just wanted to say hi very quickly. We're going to go play 18, and I'll probably get about 13 hole-in-ones. We'll see what happens. But hopefully I'll talk to you very soon as we get closer. And By the way, I'm excited. I'm coming back to Utica. I love Utica. It's really, I think it's home to hardworking patriots who love God, family, and country. And I'll be back there April 14, 15. I'm very excited at the Fat Cats Comedy Club, by the way. You got to check it out.
You will. We cannot wait for it, Mr. President. Thank you so much for the time.
And by the way, Melania says hi, by the way.
Hey, sweetheart. How you doing?
You tell her we say hi.
And, they like to say that we don't get along. It's a total lie. We get along very well. And you know why we get along? Because she doesn't speak English.
Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, gotta go.
Good
Love
luck.
you guys.
Good luck playing golf. Thank you so much.
God bless you. We love you. Thank
you. President Donald Trump.
And then when we get the president in, we have to take him to the Great Wall. It's a Chinese restaurant we have here.
I believe
right?
it is.
So?
You're right. Bob DeBono is the voice of President Trump. He will be at Fat Cats Comedy Club on April 14th and 15th. Just so happens to be falling in on tax weekend, right? A perfect time for him to make his way in. And Bob DeBono, a hilarious comic. Go to fatcatscomedyclub.com for details. Pretty excited about that. Keep it going?
Sure.
All right. Congressman Brandon Williams is on the line right now. Congressman, amazing we were able to talk with the former president there. Just unbelievable.
Well, that's a tough act to follow, I have to say. So thanks a lot, Bill.
Yeah, I apologize for that. So, Congressman, what's your assessment? We've heard from the former president. What's your assessment on what's going on right now in Congress? You've been able to kind of dig in, and you're no longer a newbie. You're there. You're a part of Washington. I can't imagine you've become any part of that establishment there, though.
Well, I only got 9 weeks on the job, and certainly a very steep learning curve. And I like to say that you can't blame me for anything before January 3rd. And,
right.
But I will tell you that we are getting a lot accomplished. There's been, so much of the last 4 years has been, I think, not very functional of what's gone on in Congress. And so it's very much like starting over. That's dinner with a number of veterans last night that are members of Congress and serving, and that was the topic of conversation, just how different this feels than any time, particularly in the last 4 years.
What is your what is your stance on Ukraine? I know that there are many Republicans. Republicans are divided on this issue. Many who feel that. I think we all could agree that an open funnel of cash flowing into Ukraine is a problem. But there is a division. Some feel that we should just get out of it, that we should worry about our own affairs. Others feel it's important and vital to be able to keep Ukraine on the winning side of this. Where do you stand?
I take a different view, Bill. The way I look at Ukraine is very much historically like we should look at the Spanish Civil War of 1936 and 1939, where the Germans went in and worked with Franco to overthrow that government, and they practiced all of their techniques and strategies and weapons, and that's where they developed really the Blitzkrieg strategy. They didn't even call it Blitzkrieg. They didn't know that that's what it was, but that's really what came out of that experience for them. And so when we look at what's going on in Ukraine and we see Iran selling drones to Russia, we think, wow, the Iranians are aligned or working with Russia. Or we see now the Chinese talking about selling weapons, and I'm sure they are providing weapons to Russia. We think, wow, that's an alignment between Russia and China. I think what you really need to see is that China and Iran want to test their weapons against the latest American systems that we're fielding for the Ukrainians, and that this becomes really a precursor, just like the Spanish Civil War was to World War II. And again, I'm not predicting World War III.
Right.
What I'm saying is that there's a lot of other interests that are happening here than just the Ukrainian people or standing up to Russia.
That's very interesting because you would have to think, and I'm an optimist who believes that our military, and I'd love your take on this, our military is far more brilliant than we give it credit for. I would think we're holding things back. Do you think it's not the case?
No, we certainly are. But you see two big, important weapon systems that have been introduced recently, the Patriot missile system, our most advanced high-altitude, ballistic missile intercept system, and also our M1 Abrams tanks. And you may know that this war has not gone well for Russian armor because of the anti-tank weapons of, in fact, some of them developed by Saab. I think some of that may even come right out of their facilities in Syracuse, as well as the Javelin anti-tank missiles. So, it concerns me that we're fielding some more and more advanced systems instead, and I met with a number of companies and other members of Congress in the last 2 weeks. Speaker McCarthy invited me to meet with a number of Silicon Valley companies that are developing new technologies for our warfighters. And what's interesting is, warfare is changing. We see the importance of drones like we've never seen before. And, we're instead of shoveling all this money to Ukraine in an endless cycle, we also need to be doing some very high-speed development and testing of our own next-generation systems like drones and drone defense. And this is something that the DoD is not good at doing. They're used to writing an RFP, and developing a spec, and then they give it to all the big prime contractors, and it takes years and years to do that. This is all happening in real time. And remember, I come out of the Silicon Valley.
Right.
And we should be putting some resources and preparing ourselves for the next war.
Congressman Williams, I want to ask, I see you're a co-sponsor of the Parents' Bill of Rights. Can you talk a bit about that and why you signed on to that?
Absolutely. One of the things we've learned from COVID is parents really got an insight into what was being taught in the schools. And many of the parents, as they then decided that they need to get involved in a school board, became targeted by, even the FBI, that some of them called domestic terrorists. And so the Parents' Bill of Rights really kind of takes all of that history, everything we've learned the last several years head on. The parents have the right to know what's being taught. Parents have the right to be heard. They have the right to see how the schools are spending money, so there needs to be transparency. Parents also have the right to protect their child's privacy, and they also have the right to be updated on any violent activity that's happening at school. So there's a lot of bullying and violence that goes unreported to parents, and that's just not acceptable. So those are the 5 issues that really tackles.
What schools are there that are not? When you think about it, a public school is run by the public. You have every right to run for. I'm bothered by this a little bit because I think you have every right to run for school board. But think about this: we want to have a Parents' Bill of Rights. How many of those parents ever attended a school board meeting?
Well, they started attending, and then it turns out they weren't very welcome.
Yeah, but that's not true. What wasn't welcome is yelling and screaming and interrupting the meeting. I mean, we saw it here. What went on in Whitesboro, for instance, was horrible. It was, you can't run a meeting like that. That was what was where the problem was. I mean, I just don't feel we have that. I understand. I do work in education. My wife's a teacher. My father-in-law is big in education in New York. So this is a topic where I don't buy it. I just don't buy it. I don't think at the very least, our schools are not preventing parents from being involved. In fact, it's the exact opposite. Schools are urging parents to become involved. And, by the way, how many people are going to be run? How many people run unopposed for the Board of Education? That's despicable. If you want to be a part of your school district, maybe we ought to have a run for school board moment where you promote the fact that people can run for the school board. I mean, you have that ability. It's like government saying there should be a citizens. We should have a citizens. You should pass legislation that allows citizens to have an input in their government. Well, we already do, right? You could run for office. You did it. How is that any different? I don't understand.
So the issue that this really takes up is about school administration, certainly not the teachers. Teachers are fighting a valiant fight given all the circumstances of the last few years. But the school administrators are very reluctant to share that power and visibility. Is that true in Whitesboro? Maybe not.
No,
but,
that's not. And that isn't even true in New York State. It's not true in New York State.
If you look at the failure of students nationwide, 60% of sixth graders nationwide are functionally illiterate. So I'd have to say that we really have some serious issues here, and that parents, just like you said, parents need to be involved. They should be involved, and this helps make sure that that's even across our whole nation.
Those statistics do not apply to our area right here, which you represent. Okay. I don't know what's going on somewhere else where 60% of the kids can't read. I don't know, but that does not represent our area. The other thing is, who do the administrators work for? The school board.
Part of my role
they
on
work
the
for the school board
committee is actually to represent not only NY22 but all of the nation and make sure that our country and all the children in our country, have the tools that they need to succeed, and that's going to help us succeed as a nation. So, part of being in the being a federal elected official is that I have that broader sense of responsibility, and so I'm very proud to support the Parents' Bill of Rights. I think that parents are very excited about this, and also support school choice. And I hope we get a chance to really, drive school choice for parents in this Congress as well.
And I don't mean to contest you on this. I just completely disagree with you. 100% disagree with you on it.
I don't mind. That's part of the part of the process. So.
It should be, right? Okay. It should be. I just feel like we have so many other things to worry about that are real, as opposed to. I just think this narrative.
Well, children failing in schools is absolutely real to me.
No doubt about it. I understand, but the dissertation that you gave prior to this is not accurate for our area. It just isn't. And I would invite you to come in and visit the schools in our area. You should meet with administrators and meet with school boards in our area and hear what they have to say. And take a look at, this is disturbing. Take a look at the number of boards of education. Now, we're coming up on a vote in May. It's going to be happening. School board budgets and school board members will be elected. I challenge you to come in and take a look at how many uncontested seats there are. That's disturbing.
I think you're really challenging your listeners to
run and
to
participate.
Get involved, and I would second that. That's it's not a challenge to me. I was not in politics 14 months ago, and now I'm sitting in Congress because I'm concerned about the direction of our country. So, I've stepped into the role where I feel like I can do the most good and to serve the people and the people of New York's 22nd district. But I think we have to look at what's really happening with our education system nationwide. When I talk to Micron and other places, other businesses, I talk about how good our schools are. And, that in New York State, generally, I think we do a pretty good job. So, but again, we can't just think about what's happening in Oneida County. We really have to look what's happening nationally. And by the way, even in New York State, it's uneven. So I'm very happy that that's, your perspective. But the problem with school, the problem with public schools is everybody says the whole system's a disaster, but my school's okay. My school, I like my school. I like the teachers there, and that's perfectly understandable. My wife and I both went to public high schools. But when you look at the outcomes nationally, folks, we've got to do something different, and that's my job in Congress.
Well, and I would go a little further with that. I feel it's beyond. I don't have obviously my wife works for a school district, but beyond that, I think there are many, in general, the school districts in our area are doing an incredible job for their students. And I don't know of an administrator that doesn't want parents to assist and to become a part of the process here.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
but my challenge to you is, I'd like to see you meet with the head of BOCES here and certain superintendents. It would be, I think, a great learning experience to find out just what is happening in the schools in your district. That's my challenge to you. And then you're right,
No,
to the public.
that's a great challenge, and I would love to do that. So I'm getting out and meeting with all different folks. Admittedly, I've started at the higher education and started with the universities, and we'll have met here in the next few weeks. We'll have met with pretty much all of the representatives of all of the universities in the district, and would absolutely love to get that purview going down into into the schools. So fully intend to do that, and I love both the challenge and the invitation. So I appreciate that.
And I love the back and forth. I appreciate it, Brandon. And,
me too.
Your accessibility is incredibly important for the district, and we appreciate it greatly. Thank you so much. And
you know what I like to say is, I'm from Washington. I'm here to help.
I don't see you ever becoming that Washington congressman. So don't even put that word in the sentence. So
Hey,
we
listen,
appreciate that.
there is something important for everyone, is that we have a deadline approaching for community project funding. And if you're looking for federal funding for a community project, we have until Friday the 17th to submit. So please contact my office. State or local governments that are looking for federal support, nonprofits that are looking for federal support, please contact my office in Utica or in Syracuse or in D.C., because we've got a deadline approaching. We just want to make sure that we're doing as much good as we can throughout the district.
All right, good stuff. Congressman Brandon Williams, thank you for the time. We appreciate it. We'll break. WIBX Utica Rome. Sorry I went over, and I didn't do our free money question either. But I have artificial intelligence telling us what we're to do next, and that is we have to play some commercials.
Yes, we have commercials, song parodies, and a chance to win $100.
All of that coming up next hour. Stand by. WIBX Utica Rome. It's 8:05.
On behalf of IBEW Local 43 Union Electricians and the NECA Contractors, we are pleased to partner with Syracuse University in providing our members with an opportunity to enhance their education at this great university.
Syracuse University's partnership with the IBEW will provide talented students the opportunity to advance their careers while shaping the future of the electrical trades and the industries they serve.
Central New York's future is bright, and the IBEW Local 43 and NECA will continue to help light, power, and grow Central New York.
Hi, I'm Pete from Big Apple Music, and whether it's your home or business, you have a lot invested. In the past, a camera surveillance system was an expensive luxury. Big Apple has now made it affordable. Big Apple is the area's leader when it comes to camera surveillance systems, having installed hundreds locally in homes and businesses. Big Apple is New York State licensed for security and camera surveillance, with most of our products sourced from American companies. Featuring Starlight Night Vision, our cameras dollar for dollar have the best night vision available. A camera surveillance system can offer full property coverage. It prevents and reduces crime, monitors high-risk areas like parking lots and showrooms, and Big Apple has a fully set-up showroom to give you real-time, realistic demonstrations of just how great a camera system can be for you. Stop in and see for yourself at Big Apple Music in New Hartford.
At AmeriQ Credit Union, we believe real connections matter, today more than ever. Whether it's connecting you to the right solutions to achieve your goals, new technology to make banking easier, or a real person to help you succeed, we'll be here. In person, online, or anywhere in between, creating meaningful connections that make you feel like you belong. AmeriQ and you. Let's connect. Membership restrictions apply. Federally insured by NCUA.
Home and Hospital Medical Supply in the New Hartford Shopping Center proudly carries a wide selection of home medical equipment. Lift chairs to buy or rent, canes, crutches, walkers, powered scooters, braces, foot care products, and so much more. And if for some reason they don't carry the product you need, they'll custom order it at no extra charge. Mary and her experienced team are there to assist you Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, or call them 315-724-6767 and online at hnhmedicalny.com. Home and Hospital Medical Supplies, we make life easier.
Adam and Grace finally made it to retirement. They decided this was their time. They drove in from Herkimer to Mattress Express in New Hartford on Commercial Drive in the Hannaford Plaza next to Red Lobster. They wanted to see the number bed they'd heard so much about. Adam had a bad back. He liked his side firm. We elevated his head, his feet, put the massage on medium. He said he hadn't felt that comfort in years. Grace liked her side softer. She was a 24. She had her head elevated slightly less, her feet a little higher, and the massage on high. They were thrilled to find out it had a 25-year industry-leading warranty. They qualified and signed up for the 5 years, no interest, no money down, so they didn't have to wait for their tax return. For their luxury reward, they chose a 65-inch flat-screen TV. They laid on the Purple and the Puffy, the big online brands while they were there, but the number bed was for them. Call 1-800-NEW-BEDS or go to mattressexpressny.com or visit any store.
Warner Sales and Service, building relationships, building trust.
This is Lynn from Warner Sales and Service. If you are push mowing your yard, using an inefficient lawn tractor, or your current zero-turn spends more time in the shop than mowing your grass, it's time you look at a Hustler zero-turn lawnmower. Residential mowers from Hustler are built like tanks and drive like sports cars. All Hustler mowers have fabricated welded steel decks. Don't settle on cheap units with flimsy stamped decks from big box stores. Come see us at Warner Sales and Service on the Greenway New London Road in Rome, just off Route 365 between Rome and Verona, and we'll guide you to the right mower for your property and your budget. Find us at warnerss.com.
Warner's, where quality still counts at Warner's.
COVID is still spreading. Don't let your guard down. Anyone can get severely ill from COVID, but your risk is greater if you're over 65, if you're obese, have heart or lung disease, diabetes, or another underlying health condition. Lower your risk of serious illness, hospitalization, and death with the most up-to-date COVID vaccines, including the booster. Learn more at ny.gov/booster.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
8:11, it's 11 after 8 o'clock. A whole bunch of comments we'll get to coming up here. I'm going to tell you about Collis, Fred F. Collis, heating, cooling, and insulation. We know about Collis for heating and cooling. I certainly utilized them this couple of weeks ago when our furnace went down. And then after that, we ended up needing to replace the furnace, which was well over 20 years old. Collis was there. It was like a well-oiled machine that came in and did the installation, put us together with a brand new thermostat that works really well with the system that we have. The house was dry, my wife complained. They added a humidifier. All incredible work from Fred F. Collis and Sons. And one thing you might not know is your bill might be a little higher, and it might not be the furnace after all. It may be your insulation. Collis also does insulation, and they have done so for years. They start with an energy audit. They'll come into your home and do an assessment of what is going on with the construction of your home. They'll date back to when the house was built. They'll investigate inside. For me, it was done during COVID, so they never even came in the house. They were able to get all of this information about our home based on records that are out there on the construction of the house. And they gave us tips and ways to be able to lower our energy bill, not only in the wintertime, but also in the summertime when you're running cooling. If it's insulation, it's possible. There are programs out there that could assist you in the payment and in some cases even pay for the entire project. They'll walk you through the whole process. Reach out to Fred F. Collis and Sons, heating, cooling, and insulation today. Manaski with some comments.
Yes. Okay. So which topic do you want to begin? You want to begin
Let's
with
get
the Brandon Williams?
on the Brandon Williams. And I listen, the education thing, it's not about my wife being a teacher. He's bashing administrators in this case. There is no administrator out there that doesn't include the public and parents in part of their educational process. Everybody could run for school board. If you want to make a difference, step up and run for the board. You have every right to do so. For God's sakes, I think Howard Potter's going to run again.
I do think this last time around you had several people who had never run before or didn't think they were going to run, and I think we did see that in some of the local districts, that there were several candidates, and if I'm not mistaken...
it's like saying that the United States government is not represented by the people. Well, we have every right to elect or elect somebody else. When it comes to Brandon Williams running for office, you could run yourself. I know it's not easy to run for Congress or for the U.S. Senate. Takes a lot of money, but you certainly you can run, and you can be a part of the process.
Here we go.
That's the American way.
Patty in New Hartford says the problem is not the schools or the teachers, it's the parents who do not parent or do not know how to. Bernie in Utica says, I believe...
Can I just talk about what she said there? There's a problem there. I think we do have a problem, and that's a tough... we're expecting to send our kids to school and have our kids all corrected. Let's start at home, right? That's what she's saying, and I agree with that.
So do I. Bernie in Utica says, I believe a requirement to be on the school board is one. Now, this is not, she's saying, I believe a requirement to be on the school board. She thinks this should be the requirement, but it is not currently a requirement. I just want to be clear on that, right? You don't have to have a student in the district, right? She's saying, I believe a requirement to be on the school board is, one, you should have a student in the district. Two, you should be a property owner. This way, the policies that you pass affect your child and your taxes. And when you raise taxes, it affects your wallet, and you are
She's
then
saying
vested.
the key word there is should.
Should, yeah, that's missing. But
yeah, that is certainly not a requirement.
Matt in Clinton says, Bill is right on as usual, a voice of clarity and so much muck. Thank you, Bill. And that's what I've got on the last segment.
Listen,
right there.
I like Brandon Williams. I like him, but that's a Republican talking point. Just like the Democrats have their talking points. It doesn't specifically apply to us here. I can't let something like that go because there are too many people that are fighting for our kids every single day. In some cases, let's be honest, some of these kids don't have parents at home. And if it wasn't for that experience they have in school, they're not being indoctrinated here in our area. What's going on in the rest of the state or the rest of the country, I have no idea, but I know what's going on here. And if it wasn't for the influence that these kids get from a teacher, whether it's in elementary or high school, think about it. Think about your own experience in life. There are teachers in the back of your mind that inspired you through life. And those good teachers are still out there today. In fact, those teachers are probably under far more scrutiny than the teachers that I had in school, and I loved my teachers. But what I'm saying is there is so much more that teachers have to go through today. If you're a young teacher, it's not like being a young teacher in 1960. You've got a lot that you have to do. And I say appreciate those people. And if you don't like what's being done in your district, then go to a school board meeting or run for school board.
Bill loved his teachers. I wondered, did the teachers love Bill?
I don't think they did. I really don't. And if they did, they don't now. I don't know why. I saw two teachers the other night. We were at Waterfront Grill. Mrs. Aney was my 6th grade teacher. Mr. Aney was he was a 6th grade teacher as well, but I didn't have him. Everybody wanted Mr. Aney. He was the one that would come up behind you and grab your sideburns and lift you out of your chair. I don't know why we loved that, but for some reason, kids loved that. But he was also my JV wrestling coach, and love Mr. and Mrs. Aney, who we saw eating dinner the other night, and we're like, probably, please, I wish this guy would get away from us so we could eat our dinner.
We've got Ed and Alien. This is about a story I did this morning. It's about a man from New Hartford who allegedly pointed a gun at an undercover investigator while traveling on Bridgestone Road. Right. So in the story, and this is, I went back to double check the release. The release says a 10 millimeter Glock handgun. He says, I think you meant to say a 9 millimeter Glock handgun. I don't know. That's what the release says, a 10 millimeter Glock handgun. So that's what I went with. And then Ed followed up to say, why are we still requiring masks? They don't work. If I'm not contagious, why do I have to wear one? And then he says they need to provide them. I kind of agree.
Some places do provide, some places don't.
Right. And I feel like if you're a place of business, you're turning away customers.
You probably should have them there and say, hey, please wear this mask. I don't want to say masks don't work. Remember, what that report was is that, number one, people were using homemade masks. They were using bandanas. All of that was acceptable. They were using cloth masks. They were using cheap masks. You don't want to use the N95s. Why? Because they're hard. It's hard to breathe. You feel like, and that, by the way, is what doctors and nurses wear all day long. So to say that they don't work, I don't think is fair. I know there are reports out there. At the same time, it isn't even about whether or not they work. Isn't it just about a common courtesy? If you're walking into a business and they tell you, hey, please wear a mask, to me, it's a courtesy. Okay, if that's what you want me to do, I'll put it on. It's not going to kill me. Or I can always say, I don't want to shop here anymore.
Correct.
But in a medical facility, if they tell you to wear it, you kind of don't have any choice, right?
Yeah, and I could certainly see it in a medical facility. I mean,
not all do now. I was in one the other day. You don't have to wear them anymore.
Correct. And I've actually had a couple of trips, I'll say, with my moonlighting gig at the local hospitals dropping off food. And when I go in through the front entrance, they ask you to wear a mask, and then they have one provided for you. But I will say this, from a perspective of somebody who doesn't like to wear a mask, and to follow up on your point, if you're wearing it incorrectly, obviously it's not going to work too. You went through all these things where it's like it's too thin, it's just a scarf. Well, if you're not covering your nose and your mouth,
of the report,
it's not going to work.
Part of the report was that masks really didn't do anything during COVID.
Right.
And the reason was because they weren't high-quality masks and they weren't wearing them properly.
Yeah.
That was the reason. Because guess what? When you're having surgery, your doctors are still wearing masks. Your nurses are still wearing masks. Why? Because they don't work. No, they do work. They're just wearing them properly.
Yeah, if I have a broken leg, wearing a cast on my elbow probably isn't going to do me any good. Now, the other thing is, when I go into a medical facility, I know that there tend to be, why would they be there? There's sick people there. I don't want to catch anything too.
Yeah.
So I don't mind wearing a mask, certainly in a medical facility.
So the first thing I will tell somebody if I'm in the grocery store and they're hacking up a lung and they're sneezing and coughing all over the place is get the hell out of here. Go home. What are you doing out spreading this to the rest of us?
Okay. So, and I've got more
and
here.
It's not just COVID. I don't care what you have. I just don't want you spreading it. Don't worry, it's not COVID. That's the least of my worries. It's the fact that you're hacking up a lung. I don't want that.
I love how people can self-diagnose.
Do more comments, but after this, Roger's on the line right now with on the school issue. Hi, Roger. Good morning.
Hi, Bill. Everything's sweet and happy in Brandon's district, so you expect him just to go sit on his hands in Washington and do nothing about the rest of the country that he represents also as a federal representative? I don't understand where you're coming from with
Well, here's where I'm coming from. What he described is not happening. It is not happening
Here.
by any means here, but what he's describing is just I don't believe it's happening in most districts around the country, to be honest with you.
Oh, no. You
Okay.
turn the TV on, you can see these what's going on out there in the rest of this country.
All I can tell
you can't make a judgment just because it's happy around here. It's different. He's a fellow representative. He's not supposed to just sit there and just say, "Well, my district's doing fine, and I'm going to just sit there and do nothing."
He's talking about administrators are not allowing people to be a part of to participate. And I don't know
In
what's
some parts
going
of the
on.
country, so they
I
have to
don't
pass a
know.
law.
He didn't say that though. And beyond that,
Well,
listen. Beyond that, do you agree that there's a great deal of apathy in this country? I mean, have you been on the school board? Have you run for the school board? When was the last time you were at a school board meeting?
Talk about school board. If you want to run for it, if the union isn't behind you, you're not going to win. You're not going to get anywhere.
That's just not.
So it's another joke too. You got to get out here and you got to just suck up to the unions too to even get elected.
That's
Tell
all
me.
hyperbole and not true. That's not
Oh,
true.
come on. You could lose an election by one vote, and if you're not speaking their language, what they want you to say, you're going to lose, and that's it.
Roger,
it's hard to get elected on certain positions.
I
like
understand that, but that's not true. In fact, there are a lot of people, a lot of times that the candidates that are supported by the union do not get elected, oftentimes because the general thought when you talk to a voter is that I don't want to elect someone that is backed by the teachers union. They're just going to make decisions. You hear that all the time.
People say that. You're right. I agree. They say, well, I don't want to put somebody in that's going to be in their pocket.
But
right?
my point is, you don't the union backed candidate doesn't always get elected. I mean,
not always,
we saw
but
that
most
in
of the
Utica,
states
right?
they will. It's hard to run based on that. It's hard. It's hard to get elected. And then you petitions, and then you got to go around and do this and that. They make it very difficult in New York State to even run for office.
Cry me a river, Roger. That's just a part of the process,
A river,
man.
I'm telling you the facts.
Yeah, but really though,
That's why people don't even bother doing things like that. A lot of people have
Yeah.
lives to live. They make it difficult to do anything.
well, then those
The
people
politicians-
those people should sit home and shut up then, because they don't want to be a part of the system. They don't want to work the work. They don't want to do the job.
Yeah, I don't.
Then what are you complaining for?
How much could people do? They have families to raise. They got a life to live. They
Again,
and everything
cry-
else
Yeah,
goes
but
on, and they got
so again,
You're
hold
crying
on, Roger.
rivers this morning.
Boy,
I
I wanted to
tell you.
agree with you too, man. But look, if you're saying it's too difficult to run because you have to get petitions, how much time do you have to dedicate to being on the school board? I mean, I got other things to do. I got to go grocery shopping. I got a family to take care of. I got to drive somewhere. Should it be a priority to that person, or shouldn't
it's
it?
not so much that the petitions are a hard thing to get. It's just that if the party doesn't back you up, in particular, or Republican, Democrat, or whatever, you're in a losing battle to start with. If you're an independent and you want to go do something and not take orders from a certain party deal, you got your.
Okay, Roger, that also is not true. In New York State, when you include New York City, this is the entire state. In terms of numbers of people registered as voters, the number one party is Democrat in New York State. No surprise.
Yeah.
What is the number two party in New York State?
Probably independent. I'd
Correct.
say.
You're
I'm
right.
taking a
You're
guess.
absolutely right. It's independent.
I just took a guess because a lot of people say they're independent. They just want to be independent, be left alone. They don't want to. They don't want to get involved in that sense. But they want to be able to go in there and say, "Well, I'm not. I'll vote for who I want to vote, and I don't want to go in with a party label."
To me, when you run for an office and you lose, and you say it's because of this, it's because of that. No, it's because you did not connect with voters and they didn't vote for you. It isn't. There's no big thing against you. I understand if you'll say, well, if I'm not a member of this party, there's no chance of getting elected. I guess in some communities there may be some truth to that. There very well may be. But
it's tough. It's really tough, and that's the way they want it.
But on a school board, it isn't that difficult to run for school board. You know what is difficult, though? Is being a school board member. And there is a lot to do, a lot of responsibility to be a school board member. And I think for those who have served on their school board, they don't get paid. They're offering up a service in hopes that they're going to make their school district better. And I think we should instead of saying, public service used to be a positive. It used to be a good thing. I still feel it is, but it's been given a bad name. We look at it like, oh, you've been a public servant for over 8 years. Shame on you. Well, they don't make any money at the school board level.
So why do they run? See, your reasoning is they run because they want to make a positive for their. Do you believe there's some people that run for these offices use them as stepping stone to something else?
I think that's possible,
like everybody that runs for school board, the next thing you know, they're running for they're running for a councilman or something like that. What do you think? This is a process that they run through? You think there are people out there, I think, that really and truly mean something when they run. But I think there's people that just basically use the school board as a stepping stone to get involved in politics.
There are many people are human, right? So you've got good and bad and selfish and not selfish, and there's a lot of that out there. So does that exist? I'm sure it does. But the reality is, in general, they're giving to their community, and we should be thanking them for that at the very least. But today we don't do that. We come in and we yell at them and scream at them because, and remember, these board members during COVID were being yelled at. This is disgusting. They were being yelled at, not because of the decisions they made, because they weren't making these decisions. The mask mandate, that didn't come from your school board. That was handed down. They had no choice. They could not kind of wave a magic wand and make it all go away. They couldn't. And they could not stand up against the state. These were mandates they had no choice but to follow. But on the front line, it was the board members that had to deal with angry parents. And I understand. It was a tough time. But,
Well, you take the job. That comes with the job, right?
It does. It does.
You want it? It comes with the job. Don't
You're
cry.
right.
They can't cry about that either.
Fair
Let
enough.
me say one thing before I go, and you'll let me go probably. This used to be, as far as I'm concerned, or I'm starting to think, this, the land of the free and the home of the brave. I'm wondering if they can really live to that image anymore. Hate to say that.
I don't know.
Think about the things that are going on in this country.
Yeah.
Maybe you disagree, huh? With that
I do
statement.
disagree. I think if you...
It's leaning against that. The home of the free. Everybody, there's all kinds of laws, rules, regulations. Wear a mask, like you said, stuff like that. People and the brave. It doesn't seem like anybody wants to do anything for the country anymore and fight. Everybody let them do the fighting for us or this and that. I don't know.
I don't know.
Like
You're talking about our military, and I think they're...
Well, no, I don't mean them in particular, but no, not them. They're there.
You're not
already.
saying anything bad about the ones that are
rest of the
there.
country that doesn't do anything anymore.
Yeah.
Half of the country, 3/4 of the kids out there just all doing playing computer games and stuff. They don't care about nothing anymore. You couldn't get one of them to do anything.
Things ain't the way they used to be and probably never were.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I knew you were. I knew it. Roger, thank you, man. You have a wonderful day, and I appreciate your input.
Thank you, man.
All right.
I don't think he's bashing the current military members. I think he's saying there aren't enough of them that want to get involved. But certainly the ones that are out there sacrificing, how can you complain about them? But what if we went AI with military? What if it was all just video games?
I got a break. Can we break? And
I've
we'll
got
come back?
20 more comments here. We'll get to them when we come back here.
I want to say this
Boy,
to
you started something this morning.
I want to say this to Roger. Thank you for calling in, because people don't want to do that anymore. People don't want to call in anymore. They don't put the time in anymore. They get on their phones. They send us a message. Davey, what happens? They don't want to call in anymore.
Nope.
They don't want their voice on the radio. They want to send us a message and make us read their message.
Yeah.
Do the work for them.
Phone lines are empty. I got 20 comments in queue up here.
315-736-0186 if you dare. 315-736-0186.
Hi, I'm Pete from Big Apple Music, and whether it's your home or business, you have a lot invested. In the past, a camera surveillance system was an expensive luxury. Big Apple has now made it affordable. Big Apple is the area's leader when it comes to camera surveillance systems, having installed hundreds locally in homes and businesses. Big Apple is New York State licensed for security and camera surveillance, with most of our products sourced from American companies. Featuring Starlight Night Vision, our cameras dollar for dollar have the best night vision available. A camera surveillance system can offer full property coverage. It prevents and reduces crime, monitors high-risk areas like parking lots and showrooms, and Big Apple has a fully set-up showroom to give you real-time, realistic demonstrations of just how great a camera system can be for you. Stop in and see for yourself at Big Apple Music in New Hartford.
Let's face it, credit cards are pretty much a necessity.
New tires for the car? Here's my card.
I order takeout, here's my card. And most of us just accept the high interest rates credit cards charge as a necessary evil.
What are you going to do?
Get a low fixed-rate credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream from $5,000 to $100,000 and pay off those credit card balances. Apply online, and you could get your money as soon as the day you apply. The average credit card company charges over 19% APR. But with Lightstream, you can get a fixed rate as low as 7.99% APR with autopay and excellent credit.
Now I can pay off my high-interest credit cards and save money with a much lower rate.
Apply today at lightstream.com/radio and get an additional interest rate discount. That's lightstream.com/radio. Lightstream.com/radio.
Subject to credit approval. Rates range from 7.99% APR to 23.99% APR and include a 0.5% autopay discount. Lowest rate requires excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply, and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/radio for more information.
Gems, flooring
Flooring from NGEMS.
It's March, and NGEMS is having their Saving of the Green sale. That's right, the entire month of March. You'll enjoy 20% savings on our entire selection of Innovia carpets, featuring the all-pet warranty. Plus, you can enjoy 12 months interest-free financing. See store for details. Hurry in, because unlike central New York winters, these savings won't last long.
Flooring from NGEMS. It's perfect for you.
Spring is on the way, and if you're looking to make the most of it in a new RV, camper, boat, or trailer, then look to Mohawk Valley FCU. Right now, you can get up to 120-month financing for as low as 5.74% APR for any new recreation vehicle. That's 120 months of financing for as low as 5.74% APR. Go to MohawkValleyFCU.org for more info and to apply today. Mohawk Valley FCU, member-focused, member-driven.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
It's incredible. After using Babbel, I'm ready to start having real conversations in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
And we talked about River Hills Properties, Bill and Robin Monjo, and all of the services that they provide. When Jimmy Fallon was up here at Fat Cats Comedy Club, they all had a conversation, and when it all ended, the decision was, I'll do commercials for you. That's Jimmy. And here is his first submission. Jimmy Fallon on River Hills Properties.
Hey, it's your radio buddy Jimmy Fallon, and the last time I was up at WIBX with the Keeler Show, when I wasn't shutting down hecklers in the comedy club, I was learning all about Bill and Robin Monjo and their amazing philosophy of buying and selling homes at River Hills Properties. Folks, when you list your home with River Hills, you're getting an extra level of service it is not available with other agencies. And I, for one, can't imagine having people I don't know wandering through my home when I'm not there. It's bad enough I've got Lincoln throwing his keg parties when I'm on the road. But also, that's the way houses are sold up in Utica, but not with River Hills. Your River Hills listing agent is there every time your house is shown. They turn the lights on, they answer questions, and they make sure no one's going through your medicine cabinet. It happens. Trust me, I've done it to a few people. Not proud. But seriously, list your home with River Hills Properties and reduce your stress level. It's like having a personal assistant to oversee the sale of your home. So why wouldn't you list with River Hills? What the heck's wrong with you? If you're even thinking about selling your home, call my friends at River Hills Properties, serving Utica, Rome, the Valley, and the North Country. Call 315-896-1009. And remember, nobody sells homes like River Hills Properties. Tell them Jimmy Fallon told you to call.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
And it is St. Patrick's Day Parade Week. This week happens on Saturday, the step-off of the parade. It steps off at 10 a.m. Yes, there is in the forecast the potential of maybe some winter weather on Saturday, but depends on where this whole thing goes. It's a storm coming across the country. I think if you were to look at percentages, we have a better percentage chance of like 35 and sunny on Saturday than anything else. Hopefully that's how it ends up. Manaski has many comments here.
All right, Matt in Clinton says, I'm an independent because I believe neither party is right about everything. Ed and Alien, I have seen memos from schools. Okay, here we go. Ed and Alien, I've seen memos from schools that tell teachers how they can treat kids, what pronouns to use, keep school matters in-house, don't communicate with parents. Bill is jaded due to what he thinks because of his family and his father-in-law.
Okay.
Moving on.
I haven't seen the memos you've seen. I have no idea if that sort of thing is going on, but
I'd love to see those memos.
The whole pronoun thing. If a kid in 11th grade wants to be referred to as a she, and you're an adult and the kid is born a male and I don't understand all of the pronoun thing, to be honest with you. But if that's how that kid wants to be identified, as adults, we should come up there and say, no, you're a boy, start acting like one. Is that how we're supposed to act?
No, and going forward, I'd like to be known as Your Honor.
Okay.
Thank you.
Fair enough. Is that a pronoun?
No, we'll make it one, though. If I say it is, it is.
All I'm saying is, I think you think we're going through confusing times based on everything going on in the world. I would imagine that high school teachers, I don't know, I'm not married to a high school teacher. I would imagine that high school teachers are working hard to figure all of this out as well, probably just like the parents of those students are trying to figure things out as well.
Comma, Your Honor.
Et cetera, Your Honor.
No, so I'm joking in there, but look, personally, I'll just tell you my own personal feeling on this. I don't care what you want to be called. I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody, right?
That's how I feel.
So I don't think I should automatically just know what it is you want to be called. But if I address you by the wrong term and then you say, I'd like to be known as this, going forward, I will. I don't have a problem doing
I have someone in our life that was born a male and has chosen to transition and wants to be whatever that means today. It means a lot of different things, and wants to be referred to as a she. So I do my best to try to remember that. Sometimes I slip up. Am I doing it because I'm conforming? Well, I'm conforming to their wishes. That's what they want. So if somebody's name is Bob and they want to be referred to as Robert, and you ask me to call you Robert, I'm going to call you Robert. Might call
That's
you
how
a
I
few
look at
names
it as
behind
well.
your back. I don't know, but I'm still going to call you Robert.
That's how I look at it as
And
well.
that's just how I look at it. I don't understand it. But should I? Is it a requirement that I understand? That's all I'm saying.
Question mark, comma,
Yeah.
Your Honor.
Is there a parent out there that's or a teacher out there that is indoctrinating your child or a child? I suppose that probably happens, but I also think it happens if a teacher does it. I also think that maybe there are parents that kind of do that. I have a child who is ... and all of a sudden you become the popular mom in the bunch or dad. I don't know. I think in the world there's a lot of bad out there, right? But for the most part, I think there's much more good and positive than bad. And maybe I'm just a stupid optimist.
Do we want to continue down this road,
Yeah,
or are we going back to the AI stuff?
I'll go back there, but go through these comments.
Let's see here. What else do I have? I got to Patty. Ed had a couple of comments.
You look at
I
that. I've got
to.
Cordelia on
Go
line,
ahead. Go ahead.
one. Hi, Cordelia. Good morning.
Good morning. Boy, really a fruitful day for you people.
Oh.
What do you mean, you people? What do you mean by you people?
Well, you people who work in there, all those topics you're talking about this morning, they're all interesting. Yeah. But you
Could
did
you
mention the parade.
Could you before we get to the parade? Could you just turn your whatever it is? Are you listening on the radio or on YouTube? I think you're on YouTube, right?
I'm on YouTube. I just
Yeah.
turned
You are
phone
my
off.
Cordelia. You are my hero. You're someone who's been around for a few years, and you embrace technology. I love that.
Yeah, it's either here or there sometimes. Sometimes, it's off center. Some people really understand what's going on, and then there's the dense ones, and then there's the ones who know it all the time.
Right.
Yeah, and so when you're around the know-it-all, you kind of like lay back and just let them know it all.
Let them know it all. They know everything. Yeah.
Yeah. But
So
the
what
other,
do you?
the other subject I caught, you were talking about masks. I carry one in the car, and I carry one in my purse just in case.
Just in case,
to.
yeah. No.
But the one in the car is when I pump gas, I put that on it because it's so cold out. It keeps your face warm.
It keeps your face warm. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And
That's a good use for it.
Yeah, I'll do it when I'm robbing a bank and stuff. It's really it helps.
Oh, gee, you're the one in that picture? Okay.
That was me. Yeah, that was me.
But, I'm concerned about the parade. Last year I got snowed out, that's to say. But they say it's going to be light snow flurries. So we can
I think
handle
that's where
that.
we're going to be. I think we can handle that. You're absolutely right.
And then, every day, tell everybody to come down to Culture Center after. It's going to be a nice time
The
down
Irish
there.
Cultural Center will be the place afterwards. There's no doubt about it. Cordelia, thank you, and you stay on YouTube. I love the fact that you're there. Thank you.
Okay, then I practice around, typing in. A couple of times I didn't do it right, but I'm learning.
You're getting it. You're there every morning. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, have
All
a
right.
good day, everybody.
You do the same. Cordelia
Bye-bye.
is in Rome.
Good morning, Cordelia.
Larry says the only people that run for school board is people that have their own agendas. I have many, many examples. I do think that probably exists. Somebody's not happy with the way this is going. They're paying too much in taxes. Who knows what? So they run for school board. There are people that do that, and probably everybody who runs has some sort of an agenda.
Well, they have a reason. They have a reason.
But I do think there are people that truly, the majority are people who care and want to make the district a better district for our children and for the community. And they don't make any money. They don't make any money off it.
Song requests for AI.
Okay. I'll put one in.
John.
So, for those that don't know, this is artificial intelligence. It's real. This is a website that you can go to, and you can type something in, a topic. It will write a song for you. It'll write
an article.
It wrote a song about Davy and Mojo.
I want to know what it said for Mojo.
I'm going to have it in song form for you tomorrow. Okay. It's going to be good. All right. John is suggesting one. What do you have?
John, you should request a song about a skeptic named Jeff.
Song. Okay. I wonder if it'll do that.
What do you got?
Song about a skeptic.
Oh, wow. Hold on.
Named Jeff.
You're welcome.
Okay. Davy's doing his work in there.
All right.
And it's going to take a little while for that one. It hasn't
Okay.
started writing as of yet.
Okay, Big Honey and Hecla has his own song. Go ahead.
It's writing. It's writing, by the way. Now, just so you know, you type that in, you hit go, and it writes the song for you. And it doesn't draw off Google or anything like that. This is absolutely artificial intelligence, a computer doing the writing. And it's writing right now. Look at this. The song about you, look at it, it's writing.
Boy, it's got a lot to say,
It's got
apparently.
a lot to say about you, skeptic.
Big Honey and Hecla says Davy's song should be "Get Your Mojo Runnin'." Head out on the
Get your
thruway.
mojo running.
Head out on the thruway, looking for a story or whatever comes his way. Born to be mild.
Oh,
Uncle Smitty.
I think he's looking for a stripper.
Oh, no. Conservative John in Boonville says, ask AI to write a song about getting stuck behind old people buying lottery tickets in the store when
my
you
God.
only have one item to pay for.
Oh,
I know.
Let me tell you about this. I know who that is. And he went off yesterday on Facebook. He did. This is John, my friend in Boonville. He went off on.
So he's waiting. So he's at the convenience store.
He did a rant on Facebook about it. It is marvelous.
Trying to
it's
pay.
just pure.
Pull it up. Pull it up.
Trying to pay for gas, and there's one person that's got a list of 10 different scratch-offs they want to buy. I know it's tough.
Not even the scratch-offs. They do the quick picks, too, and then they want to know did their numbers hit from yesterday. And then I got a couple left from Sunday because I didn't get to come in yesterday. Can you tell me, did these ones hit? Just go over to they have a machine there that you could scan them yourself.
Here's Ann, Ann, I just want to say, I know that you could comment, you could send a message, but you choose to make the phone call and go live on the air. It's a thing of the past, a thing of yesteryear, and we appreciate it. Good morning.
I just want to hear your voice live. I just want to tell you, you're 50% right about the school district. Parents should be part of the solution, not the problem. But I think that what the congressman was saying, every day I listen to the news, and there's something else about school districts. And I said to my friend who retired from the school district in Rome, God bless the Rome teachers and the people we have in this area, because we don't have the problems they do. One woman's suing the school district. Her daughter was getting her chest bound from the teacher. Another teacher was saying books are bad and you shouldn't read books. And every day it's something else, whether it's drag queens or books that they have in the library. Thank God we don't have these problems. We have professionals and we have teachers in this area that you can go to and complain. The young girl that committed suicide because she was being bullied, there were several kids in that district that were crying, saying, we went to the school district, they've done nothing.
Well,
I'd get my kid and send him to another school, too.
Can I say that those parents are suing that school district. I'm not saying there aren't bad things and bad cases out there. This is a very large country with a lot of school districts around the country. But in general, I believe that even in Mississippi and California and Texas and Florida, it's all the same. You have people who are teachers, administrators. They're all looking for the best for our children. Are there bad situations out there that hit the news? There are. But you know what? But you know what? You can't say, there aren't more gun crimes today, because what the difference is we have a 24-hour news cycle, so they're covering every single one. It's like you get the feeling like there's this huge increase. The same thing applies to education. There are bad people out there that become teachers, and those are real stories. But in general, I do not believe we have a problem. And the other part of this, Ann, is you want to make a difference, you go to the school board meeting. How many of these people are
part of the solution, not the problem?
Part of the solution, yes.
You were right. If I went home and told my mother that I had to stay after school, I was getting punished before she even asked me. It starts at home.
You're right. There's in a lot of cases, and you see it even more so probably in inner city schools, but you see it in every school district, where these kids are on their own after school and sometimes before school. How many kids don't have a breakfast before they go to school? If it wasn't for the school providing that breakfast, the taxpayers providing the breakfast, these kids wouldn't be eating. So, starting at home is a big part of this, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, have a good day, guys.
You
Thanks
too,
for
Ann.
taking my call.
All right. Do you want to hear the song?
Yeah.
I got to put music to this.
Will you sing it, please?
I'll try, but I got to come up with a melody. Didn't believe in much, everything. Okay, well, I'm going to go with it. Jeff was a skeptic and didn't believe in much. Always questioning everything, never trusting his gut. He didn't believe in love, thought it was just a game. But then he met a girl who made him feel the same. Jeff, oh, Jeff, you didn't think you'd find someone who could change your mind. Now you see that love is real. You can't deny the way you feel.
Okay.
I mean,
well, I didn't think we were going down that road.
I'm not saying it's turned into a love song. I don't know how it happened.
I don't know how that happened
And I'm not saying it's a good song. I'm just saying that was just written in like two minutes, a minute. It was written in a minute by artificial intelligence. A unique writing that is not plagiarized, a unique writing. And what we were talking about earlier, if you don't think kids are saying, I've got to write an essay on Benjamin Franklin, and you put it into this, and it gives you 7 paragraphs that you copy and paste, change a few things around, and submit it as your own, and guess what? It is.
Can I just a little tip?
That's where we are today.
A little tip of the cap to you, just off the cuff, being able to sing anything that comes across your phone.
Well, you got to do what you got to do. I mean, you told me to do it.
Roger wants to know, and maybe I did put something in there. He wants to know what we put in Bill's Diet Coke this morning.
I don't know. I believe it's, I've been trying to lessen my intake of vodka, but, dropping in a little Diet Pepsi this morning apparently is...
And Smitty's got
changed everything for us this morning.
Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg on the line there because he's coming to town to check on this train derailment that happened this morning.
Oh, Lordy. Listen, Daylight Donuts, the official coffee of the Keeler in the Morning radio program, Daylight Donuts in New Hartford, and try their lattes. The most delicious lattes you're going to find. I mentioned the Almond Joy. Think about that. The pistachio latte. And another 14 different flavors. Check them out at Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. Chuck, make sure that drive-thru is efficient and lightning fast. There might be a coffee drive-thru out there where you'll sit for 30 minutes. Not at Daylight Donuts. You get Seattle's best coffee. You get all of what you're looking for, and it's done quickly right there in the village of New Hartford. Fresh bagels, sandwiches, and donuts every single day. Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. We'll wrap this debacle up in just a second. Stand by. Coming right back at WIBX.
From screen printing and embroidery to promotional products and online shops, it's all under one new roof at Max's Print Shop in Marcy. Order anytime and any quantity in person or online at maxsprintshop.com. Since 1978, we pride ourselves on personally meeting every customer's need. We can take your project from design to production. And remember, Max's Print Shop will stitch anything. And we mean anything in the Utica, Rome area. Find us at 9550 55 River Road in Marcy, or online at maxsprintshop.com.
Uncertainty, the unknown. These can be some of the greatest fears people face. There is a chance for a life of greater certainty that the Rome Rescue Mission provides. We call it a hand up, not a handout. The Rome Rescue Mission provides the basic necessities and the skills needed to start a new life. It starts simply with someone to talk to. Knowing that someone cares. The Rome Rescue Mission strives to meet basic needs, food, shelter, and clothing, but more importantly, provides emotional and spiritual support. The Rome Rescue Mission helps people start a new and promising life. Being in need is not a choice. Helping is. An unlimited future starts at the Rome Rescue Mission through your generous support. Make a difference and donate now. RomeMission.org. That's RomeMission.org. Rome Rescue Mission. A hand up, not a handout.
Listen, I realize New Year's has passed. Happy New Year. And people will be like, you're saying Happy New Year. It's March, for God's sakes. How about Happy St. Patrick's Day? But you know what? At Steve Ponte Mazda, Ricky Z says, this New Year, new Mazda sales event has been extended because it's so amazing. There are about 100 or so, maybe even more, new Mazdas on the lot ready for you during the sales event. It's the New Year, new Mazda sales event, and it's been extended. Enjoy financing or leasing when it comes to your new 2023 award-winning Mazda. The 2023 CX-9 is a beautiful vehicle. You got to check that thing out. I currently have, I guess mine would be 2019. I don't know. I bought it 2 years ago. It's a Steve Ponte Mazda New Year, new Mazda sales event, and it's going on right now. It's a different buying experience. Come in and see Ricky Z. He'll say, let's make your deal on a new Mazda. Mean a better payment. You need to lower your payment. Just ask Rick or any of the fine people over there. They'll take care of you. It's always easy to do business. It's Steve Ponte Mazda, located on Commercial Drive in Yorkville.
Easy Cater presents We've Got Your Back. Up Singers.
Backup singers. So I order barbecue for a 20-person client meeting. Easy Cater calls and says, hi, Sarah, you probably need more food for that many people. Want us to add it for you?
Doing it for ya.
I say, yes, please.
Yes.
Turns out they were right. Good thing they asked. Because Joyce's meeting notes can be pretty sassy when she's hungry.
Look out.
Client meetings? Easy Cater has your back with over 100,000 restaurants. Order 24/7 on easycater.com and know.
We got your back.
Start a new career and get a great paycheck, earning up to $39 per hour, plus strong benefits, a job you love, a solid pension, and brothers and sisters who always have your back. Your union construction career with Laborers Local 190 starts today. As a member of Local 190, you'll build the Mohawk Valley's future and get state-of-the-art training to do it safely. Earn more. Build your future. Apply today by texting JOBS to 345-345.
Hey, are you
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
I'll say it again. Are you really into cheese? Because I got to tell you something. Cheese today is a hot commodity. It's a big deal in the restaurants and in your grocery stores and all over. But you're not going to get the kind of cheese that you get at Artisanal Cheese. It is imported from around the world. Italy, Spain, France. Some of the most delicious cheeses at Artisanal Premium Cheese. And you can sample a large selection of those cheeses from around the world. Add their delicious restaurant-quality breads and charcuterie. And you have a perfect holiday or evening or dinner. Easter dinner's just around the corner. 900 Oswego Street in Utica, open 7 days a week. Online at artisanalcheese.com. Great for a gift idea, and they will ship anywhere. Some other comments here. What do you have?
Kevin in Utica says, regarding the app message versus the phone line, some of us are too busy building a downtown hospital to call in. IBEW Local 43 representing. Also, John in Utica said, Bill's right about school district involvement. Interesting that the federal oversight of local schools has been a Democratic position that the GOP opposed for decades, but now some in the GOP want certain federal standards.
Schools should be governed locally, right? And I mean, you have a set. The state will have has a set standard that needs to be followed, and then George Bush tried to put together No child left behind. I mean, everybody's trying. I had an interesting thing. So I have John here saying, we all know about, in regards to education, we need to be open-minded that our area in Utica may be okay. However, our congressional district is also in Syracuse, and things may be different there. I think it's the same in Syracuse. The thing is, it's easy for us to say inner-city schools struggle with their graduation rates, and they do. Mm-hmm. But, you're dealing with, in some cases, families where in the inner city, these kids are out all night long. We're having problems with 14-year-olds shooting up at the mall, shooting. In this case, it was a garbage can. And in Syracuse, but we see the same thing happen here. You cannot expect to take that element and just put it into a school and expect everything to be okay. You're going to fix everything. Your school's not going to fix everything. However, at the same time, I do recall hearing a conversation, and I won't mention any names, but it was an administrator and a teacher. And the teacher said, these kids, they don't have parents at home. They're allowed to do whatever they want. There's no way I'm going to be able to change that child. And the administrator said, your job is to connect with every single child. And you may fail, but you can never stop trying to connect with those children and make a difference in their lives. And that is what we have that we're dealing with. And I'm not saying it's that case in every situation. But isn't that what you want your school district to be?
Yeah.
I don't care how bad that kid is. We're going to find a way to connect with that kid, because it's that connection that will keep that kid out of a jail or out of robbing your bank down the road once they become an adult, or maybe they don't even have to become an adult anymore. That's what keeps society on the straight and narrow.
I think that is a great philosophy to have for school. I think we've adopted that to society, where we say, no matter how violent a criminal is, you will never change that criminal. So what we need to do is connect them with services that puts money in their pocket if they behave.
This world is a crazy world we're living in. That I will completely agree with. And I appreciate Brandon Williams coming on the air, knowing that I don't always just keep my mouth shut, and I apologize for that. But it's the job. Hey, we're back here tomorrow morning. Brian Kilmeade's another one of those talkers. He's on after news coming up next here. WIBX Utica Rome, it's 9 o'clock.
Still missing and not heard from. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. 4 Americans kidnapped in Mexico.
Now I guess we're going to have to wait to see what the kidnappers want, if there's a demand for ransom. I don't think they're struggling for money. The cartels aren't struggling for money.
Congressman Troy Nails and other Republicans want the